He's going to come out and pound the ball. And on the other side of the ball, rookie middle linebacker Robert Jones will be sorely tested inside because the Cards are coming at him.
And, of course, the Cardinals have to come at somebody right now because they are 0-2. And you would think even this early in the year they could be still upbeat, but they have a feeling of discouragement around them.
They really do. It was a very depressing scene to be in that meeting yesterday talking to Bugle and all the players. And I did their third game last week when they went into Washington 2-0. Great team on a roll, got blown out. Now they're 0-2. They insist they're a better team at 0-2 than they were at 2-0. But this is a game Joe Bugle and the Cardinals have to win.
We'll find out. Meanwhile, why don't you go down a checklist and see how the teams stack up man-to-man.
Okay, this week, we got to give the edge. First of all, Dallas, offense, easy. Dallas, defense, easy. Special teams, Dallas, easy. Team speed, Dallas is the fastest team in the league. They get the edge. Big check on this side, though, for the Cardinals in the intangible department, because they are the team in this game right now that is life and death. They have got to win it.
The Dallas Cowboys will receive, and Greg Davis will kick off for the Cardinals. There he is. Came over from Atlanta on Plan B last year, and back deep for the Cowboys, Alexander Wright and Kenneth Gant. Gant is on the right. Wright is on the left.
It's easy for you to say.
Not quite. And we're underway with a line drive kick by Davis. It'll sail into the end zone, and Wright is going to run it out after bobbling the ball in the end zone. A poor decision by Gant, and Anthony Edwards makes the stop as Wright returns the kick. Troy Aikman, surprisingly enough, has only 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions against Phoenix. Up front, 2-8 Newton. Mark Stepnoski makes the start. He was a holdout. John Kiesick, Eric Williams, and Jay Novostek is the tight end. Emmett Smith and Darrell Johnston are the running backs. Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper are the wide receivers.
That, Dick, was what you might refer to as a bonehead play, taking the ball out of the end zone like that. You do not want to do that. That's a sign that you're not mentally into the game and really ready to go from the kickoff.
They may not be against this team. They start from the 7-yard line, first down. And it's Emmett Smith off the left tackle and brings it out to about the 7 or 8-yard line. A gain of 6 yards. Jeff Faulkner and Eric Hill, the linebacker, making the stop. The base defense for the Cardinals: Faulkner, Jim Waller, and Mike Jones, although we'll see a lot of 8-man fronts today. Freddie Joe Nunn and Ken Harvey, good speed rushers from the outside, with Tyrone Stowe and Eric Hill, the inside linebackers. Aeneas Williams and Lorenzo Lynch are the corners, and Michael Zordich and Tim McDonald. He is quite a hitter. They're the safeties. Second down and 4 from the 13-yard line. And a play fake back to the 5. Aikman's toss, and it's caught by Michael Irvin. Gets away from the defender. Irvin is going to get into Cardinal territory. Michael Irvin may go all the way. Touchdown, Dallas. No penalty markers down. Yard touchdown pass, and Lorenzo Lynch missed the tackle on Michael Irvin.
When you pound that ball in the middle and you're establishing your run game, something it really sets up is that play action pass. And that was a good job of faking by Aikman, and then just pure Michael Irvin at the rest.
Rookie Lynn Elliott. And this crowd hasn't gotten settled in their seats yet. And on the second play from scrimmage, the Cowboys strike fast and lead it 7-0. That's the longest career reception for Michael Irvin, and it's 7-0 with less than 2 minutes gone by here in the first quarter.
One of the true entertainers and characters of the NFL. We didn't see the play action fake part, but believe me, they bet Lorenzo Lynch, you got to make a tackle on an Irvin. He's a strong, fast receiver. Now watch the great job Jay Novacek does on Zordich. He is just going to bird dog him all the way down the field. That's a tight end, folks. He's running with a DB and a wide receiver. Good job by Novacek. And Irvin uses that speed and strength to score that touchdown. Michael Irvin and Emmett Smith have a nice, friendly little competition going on touchdowns and scores and length of scores. And Emmett and Emmett and Michael are on the sideline checking that one out.
They have a little friendly rivalry. They kid each other a lot about how Irvin should be blocking for Emmitt Smith, and I think both were pleased at the great play by Michael Irvin on the second play from scrimmage.
And that is just the start that Joe Bugle did not need. Did not need this kind of a quick momentum jump out as Dallas has done their first 2 games.
Lynn Elliott will kick off. Johnny Bailey and Anthony Edwards are back deep. And it'll be Bailey will not run it out. So after a bad mental play by Alexander Wright on the kickoff, the Cowboys lead, and now Chris Chandler has to bring the team back. He's in his 5th season and is backing up the injured Tim Rosenbaugh. Will be out for 6 weeks. Sharp, Mark May moving to left guard from right tackle. Rick Cunningham is the new right tackle this week with Via Smith. Walter Reeves is the tight end. Ivory Lee Brown is the starting running back. Butch Rawl the H-back. Ricky Prohl and Ernie Jones the wide receivers. First down from the 20. On the draw play, Ivory Lee Brown doesn't get much. We expect to see a lot of Johnny Johnson in this game. He'll be coming in soon. James Washington made the tackle, but let's check out the Cowboys defensively. Up front, Tony Tolbert, Tony Casillas, Jimmy Jones, and Charles Haley. What an addition he has been. Vincent Smith, Robert Jones, the rookie that Randy mentioned at the outset, and Ken Norton are the linebackers. Holt and Larry Brown the corners, Ray Horton and James Washington the safeties. Second down and 9 from the 21 of the Cardinals. Again, they go to Brown. He stumbled on the handoff and gets back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Tony Casillas was there, and that'll bring up 3rd and long for Phoenix.
The line changes made by Joe Bugle, and they're made here with Cunningham and here with May, are designed to get the running game in play right now. But what happens here is you can't game plan for a quick Tony Casillas that goes through 3 blockers and just trips up Ivory Lee Brown, who's really kind of a scat back caught in a dump truck's body. Thinks he can run outside. A guy that big got to be running over people.
He ought to change his plan. Out of the shotgun with the 3 wide receivers, including Randall Hill on 3rd and 9. Chandler is rushed. And it's passed to Larry Centers. And a penalty marker is down upfield and a loss of the play. Now they say no gain, but there's a flag down. Our referee is the veteran Red Cashin, and he will sort it out for us.
Coming from the back like that, it's either a face mask or a hold. You see the official motioning towards his face. Could have face mask. Was it unintentional or was it flagrant?
It'll be against the Cowboys and will be an automatic first down if it was a 15-yard penalty.
Face mask during the run. Number 30 of the defense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Isaac Holt.
And that's the difference there. You always got to remember, since they changed that rule on the face mask, that's the kind of thing where if you're just grabbing for a jersey and your finger hooks a part of the face mask, it's 5 yards. They move the sticks, but they don't give you an automatic first down.
So the Cardinals will be short 4 here. 3rd down and 4 from the 26. And they tighten the line. Receivers come close to the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 4. Pressure on Chandler. And his pass to the outside is incomplete, intended for Randall Hill. And Isaac Holt was all over him defending on the play. So it'll be 4th down, and the Cardinals will have to kick.
Randall Hill, another Miami receiver's got a little showman in him, just like Michael Irvin. Watch this play by Isaac Holt, though. Look at him closing on the ball. Into the back, a little overthrown. But, you know, Chandler says he worries about an Isaac Holt because Isaac Holt will guess with you, and he shows up in places he's not supposed to be.
Rich Camarillo, the 11-year veteran, and the Cowboys were charging in. Kelvin Martin lets the ball drop, and it's going to take a Cardinal bounce, still going inside the 5, and will be down at the 1-yard line. A big break for the Cardinals, who trail 7-0.
That was close, Dick. That was almost a touchback. Because remember, it's not so much where you touch the ball, it's also where your body is as you touch that ball down. If any part of you is touching that end zone or that end line, you will be called as in the end zone. And watch Edwards right there. See that? Where was his left foot? The official right there almost called that a touchback.
And he would have been right if the foot had been on the line.
Another poor decision by a Dallas special teams receiver here. Should have caught that. Kelvin Martin should have fair caught that and caught it, and would have saved his team about 30 yards.
So the Cowboys have started from their own 7 and now their own 1, and they lead at 7-0 with 11:40 remaining in the first quarter. And the whistle blows, and we will have a procedure penalty apparently against Dallas.
Well, you remember the old term in the Sandlot game, no bucking the center, no hitting that center before or get him early? I think Jim Waller did a little bucking of Stepnoski there in the middle right before the ball was snapped.
In that case, it would be against the Cardinals.
That was amazing, man. I don't think those officials need any help from the players, but they all want to put their 2 cents in.
And they use the back judge to keep the players away. It's a good role for him.
That's right. You see that 49er Jet score, 31-14. So Kozlet, I guess, in New York ought to keep off the prediction circuit.
He's no Joe Namath. Namath wants guaranteed a win.
Encroachment before the ball was snapped. Middleman on the defense, 5 yards.
That's the man, the middleman, Jim Waller, who's up to what, 295 now?
295. Look at those handles old Jim's got working there running over the belt. But, you know, Jim used to be 265 last year. He said this offseason he grew half an inch, went up a shoe size, went up from a 12 to a 13. He put on 25, 30 pounds, and he's now more of a physical hand-playing nose guard.
Shoe size, that's surprising. 1st and 5 from the 6-yard line, and Darrell Johnston, the up back, gets beyond the 10-yard line, close to a first down, but he may be a little shy. A pickup of 4 yards on the play.
Well, we talked about Waller and extra weight. Let's see if that weight helps him out at all. 2 years ago, Stepnoski schooled Jim Waller. I mean, just stuffed him. Waller's doing a good job initially of holding up Stepnoski, but that's what an offensive lineman looks for. As soon as the guy on him starts coming off to try to make a tackle, that's when the lineman accelerates his feet and tries to bury him, as you saw Stepnoski do to Waller.
Cardinals playing under a lot of pressure today. Rumors about Joe Bugle. The team has lost its first 2 games. And now they have to go into the Dallas buzzsaw, trailing 7-0, 2nd down and 1, and Darrell Johnston again. And he will have enough for the first down, and Jim Waller, the nose man, is there to make the tackle, a pickup of 3 yards.
And the difference between that play and the one before, watch Waller just stuff Stepnoski, push him back. Now he comes off quickly. Remember we talked about the hand playing? Well, there was the hand playing. He had a hold of Stepnoski, used those hands, and threw him off to make the tackle. There you see that smiling, happy face of the former Bruin.
As you are.
Oh, yeah, of course. We were all kind of happy about that BYU win.
Yeah, you can plug your school. I wish I could. 1st and 10 on the 13-yard line. In motion is Novacek. And Aikman on a fade pattern going for Alvin Harper. And fine defense downfield by Aeneas Williams, who was burned badly by Randall Cunningham and the Eagles last week. Williams was step for step with Alvin Harper.
And Aeneas Williams had to go this whole week thinking about this and knowing coming against guys like Harper and Irvin, they are going to test him deep. And this is just the first time, folks. It's going to happen again. They're going to go back after Aeneas because last week he was toast.
Top rookie last year. He was the first rookie to lead the NFC in interceptions since Everson Walls of the Cowboys back in '81. Actually tied with 6 in the conference. 2nd down and 10. Smith carries and gets nothing on the play. 1 yard will give him.
That was another good play in the middle by Jim Waller, coming off the block and making a nice tackle. See, that's one thing about putting on 25, 30 pounds if you're a nose guard. Jim Waller used to be a pass rusher. Now he's a little bit bigger. They put him on the side with the plotters when comes time for throwing downs.
Doesn't have to run as much now, as the Cardinals have their pass rushing unit in there, which means Freddie Joe Nunn and Ken Harvey as defensive ends.
Waller's a nose guard. How far is a nose guard got to run anyway?
A couple of feet. 3rd down and 9. Kelvin Martin is in as an extra wide receiver for Aikman, who has time. He completes to Martin at the 20, but he'll be short of a first down by about 3 yards. It was David Braxton and Lorenzo Lynch, a couple of nickelbacks on the play, and so the Cowboys will be forced to punt for the first time.
A little surprising there that he settled down right where he did. Martin settled down short of the first down. He just settled in the pocket. He had another 2.5, 3 yards to go to get to that marker. Maybe should have gone back a little further and gotten his first down guaranteed.
Mike Saxon will kick it away for the Cowboys, and Johnny Bailey, picked up from the Chicago Bears and one of the top kickoff return men in the early going, is back for the Cardinals. Bailey inside the 30-yard line. Broke a couple of tackles and a fine return by Johnny Bailey up to the 42-yard line. Well, Dallas got off to a fast start last week, Randy, as they have done today.
They were a buzzsaw last week. Blocked the first 2 giant punts, and it's done a great thing for them. The special teams have been fantastic, but the problem with Dallas has been the second half last week. They did not execute, and they had a hard time holding that lead.
Jimmy Johnson, who will have a new defensive back, he traded for Thomas Everett of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they've already signed him. That's the 45th trade that the Cowboys have made. Everyone thinks it was just Herschel Walker. They made a lot more than that. First down, Cardinals on the 41. Chandler to throw on first down, and the pass is caught, and it should be a first down for the Cardinals with forward progress to Ernie Jones. That's Chandler last week in relief of Tim Rosenbaugh. Not bad numbers at all.
Well, he's got good numbers already, because Rosenbaugh went down in the first first game with a dinged head, then went down last week with a bad shoulder, separated shoulders, now on IR.
First down for the Cardinals. They're in Dallas territory at the 47. And on the draw play, Ivory Lee Brown picks up about 2. Cardinals have had trouble running the ball. They have averaged less than 3 yards a carry thus far. Haley and James Washington on the stop.
Here's a great matchup. 2 Pro Bowlers, Haley and Sharp. Watch this. You want to see a little agility and athletic ability? Sharp goes to turn Haley out. 2 quick hops and an arm over, and he's right in Brown's face. There's Charles, that smiling face. He's happy to be here in Dallas.
And he's made an impact not only on the field but off as well, which was not the case in San Francisco. Second down and 8 from the 45 of Dallas. Chandler has some time. He swings it out to Butch Roll, the H-back. He gets just 2 yards on the play. Roll, the former Buffalo Bill, and Tolbert. And Norton defending.
Now that's called cleaning up the scraps. Watch Tony Tolbert come from his end position, sees the pass being made. There he is right there, 92. Tackles being made around the legs by Norton. Here he comes, cleaning up. Whoop. Ooh. Through the chest, through the head, into the face mask, and onto the turf.
6 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Cardinals trail the Cowboys 7-0, and a 3rd and 6 coming up. One way, and the pass to Larry Centers, who holds onto the ball and makes a terrific catch. The question is, does he have the first down? Larry Brown defending on the play, and it's going to be awfully close. He might be shy by a half a yard.
Whether or not they get this first down, Dick, the Cardinals are getting themselves into the position they don't want to be in, and that's getting their running game stuffed and having to throw every time. If they throw a lot in this game and have to keep throwing down after down, we're talking a bloodied and bruised Chandler. But watch the concentration. Brown, helmet right in the back, and flips him over. They're going for it.
4th down and 1. Smart move by the Cardinals. We don't know how many opportunities they're going to get in Dallas territory, and the handoff to Ivory Lee Brown, and it's a first down. He got good blocking off the left side of the line, inside the 35, and a pickup of 5 yards.
You hear that term about doing a great job all the way across the board? Well, Dallas does a pretty good job about this much of the board. Watch this area right in here, right where Walter Reeves is lined up at tight end. Watch the hole open. Brown's blocked, 24. He's getting pushed back, and Jones gets over there way too late. No penetration by the Dallas line made that a successful play.
So the Cardinals go for it on 4th and 1, and they have a first down on the Cowboys 34. With time, he's going deep for Randall Hill, and Hill has it for the touchdown. And the Cardinals come back in the game, a 34-yard touchdown pass as Randall Hill beats Larry Brown, and it's 7-6.
And that's purely a case of the wide receiver, Randall Hill, paying much more attention to where he is on the field and where the ball is than the defensive back, Brown. Watch Hill adjust. He starts coming back. What's Brown doing? He has misjudged the ball and where exactly it is. See him keep going, and Randall Hill comes right underneath him.
First touchdown reception for Randall Hill this year.
And there's a celebration, a little racquetball move.
Greg Davis will attempt the point after with Chandler holding. And the kick is good, and it's 7-7. So two Miami Fleet wide receivers, Michael Irvin and Randall Hill, have caught big touchdown passes, and we're tied 7-7. 4 minutes and 47 seconds remain in the first quarter. Troy Aikman hit Michael Irvin with an 87-yard touchdown pass to give the Cowboys the lead. And it was the longest career reception for Irvin, and it was the longest touchdown pass for Troy Aikman as well. .447 remaining in the first quarter. 6 plays and 59 yards. We want to welcome you viewers who witnessed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Minnesota Vikings. This is Dick Stockton and Randy Cross here at Texas Stadium. The Cardinals have just scored to tie the Cowboys 7-7. 2 long pass plays, Aikman to Irvin for 87 yards to give Dallas the lead, and then a touchdown pass from Chris Chandler to Randall Hill, 34 yards to tie it up.
The difference so far, Dick, is Dallas has got a little bit of a running game going and gotten a big passing play. The Phoenix Cardinals and Chandler have not gotten their running game going. They've got to get the running game going, or the pass rush from Dallas will eat them up.
And here is Greg Davis kicking off. Alexander Wright and Kenneth Gant. It's to be Wright in the end zone. And this time he wisely does not run it out. He did at the opening kickoff and reached the 7-yard line.
Well, he's lucky he dropped that ball because he had every intention of coming out with that kickoff, Dick.
So the Cowboys.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys, who have won 7 straight regular season games, and the Phoenix Cardinals, who have dropped 10 in a row in regular season, tied 7-7. That much time left in the first quarter, and the Cowboys with a first down on the 20-yard line. First down, Emmitt Smith with a delay and bursts forward and picks up close to 8 yards. Tyrone Stowe making the tackle. And for an NFL Today update on another game, let's check in with Greg Gumbel. Greg?
In Washington, an 80-yard drive capped by a 6-yard touchdown run by Ernest Biner, and the Redskins jump out in front of the Detroit Lions by a score of 7-0 in the first. Dick?
Redskins have won 16 and lost none at RFK against the Lions. Second down and 3, and the handoff is to Emmitt Smith. And he picks up 7 yards on that carry. Jim Waller makes the stop. Coming into the game, Emmitt Smith and Herschel Walker were tied for the lead in the NFC. And Herschel Walker playing in Philadelphia this afternoon. 53 yards so far.
You know, Emmitt Smith is really, he's kind of a squirt and sizzle kind of a back. You know, he's got the sizzle to beat you with the speed, but he's so short, he can squirt through those holes where really a normal back isn't going to find a crack to run.
First and 10 on the 34-yard line with 3:25 to go in the first quarter. Aikman fires, and the pass is caught. Alvin Harper. They get Michael Irvin on the far side, a good for 15 yards. And a first down just shy of midfield. Irvin, who caught the big touchdown pass early. Lorenzo Lynch defending on the play.
And these guys are just getting their timing back. Aikman, Novacek, Irvin, just starting to get that timing back you normally get in training camp. But with Irvin and Novacek holding out, it's going to take a week or so for these guys really to get back in sync with their timing and their drops.
Yeah, their passing game is not where they want it to be, and Novacek seems to be the slowest to come around of all the holdouts. First down on the 49, Emmitt Smith. drives into Cardinal territory and a gain of 4 yards. Jim Waller, the nose guard, making the stop.
Talk about scary for the NFL. Look at this. Dallas is the youngest team in the NFL, and they have more draft picks, and they have young guys sitting on the bench that they haven't felt have matured enough yet to get in there. They've rebuilt a dynasty here in Dallas. Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson have done a fabulous job in the last 3 years of reestablishing this franchise.
And Jimmy Johnson says we have to get veterans now. A lot more draft choice won't help us. We have enough of those. 2nd down and 6 on the 47 of the Cardinals. And here's Emmitt Smith. And he drives inside the 45-yard line. Freddie Joe Nunn making the tackle, a gain of 4. And that'll be 3rd and short coming up.
Here's a good example of Dallas playing a little bludgeon ball. Nate Newton having a great early season right now, coming from his left guard position, blocking on Freddie Joe Nunn. And that whole line of scrimmage just sort of lurched and jumped back 2 or 3 yards by the time Emmitt Smith got there.
He has 28 yards on 6 carries. Keep in mind that he has gained over 100 yards in his last 4 games here at Texas Stadium. 3rd down and 2 coming up. Emmitt Smith gets hit at the line. And the second effort may be good enough for the 1st down as Tim McDonald wrestled him to the ground. Jim Waller was the first to get to him.
That was a nice job by Waller. Pursuing from his nose guard position, he came across, made that tackle, but a good illustration of the leg strength of Smith. Waller had him for about a half a yard gain and no 1st down, and Smith just kept driving.
And it's a Cowboy 1st down with under a minute to play in the 1st quarter. Dallas on the move and a 1st down at the 41-yard line. Coming into the game, one of 3 unbeaten teams in the NFC. Aikman wants to throw. He pumps once. Michael Irvin is double covered, but he's got it anyway for another Dallas touchdown. That's 2 for Irvin, and Aikman hooking up in this quarter.
You ever hear the term biting on a fake? Troy Aikman pump fakes. Watch Aeneas Williams. I got it. Uh-oh. Slight problem. Need help. Aren't going to get it. Michael
Zordich was the safety there, and Troy Aikman has thrown 2 touchdown passes to Michael Irvin. And it's now 13-7, and Lynn Elliott is aboard to try to make it a 14-7 game. 41-yard pass play. And the Cowboys regain the lead by a touchdown. An aerial show in the 1st quarter here at Texas Stadium.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by your Toyota dealer, who invite you to discover the all-new Corolla. Discover Corolla again. AT&T, more ways to help you stay in touch. And by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
Back here at Texas Stadium, where the Dallas Cowboys lead the Phoenix Cardinals 14-7. Michael Irvin has caught 3 passes for 143 yards and 2 scores already with 20 seconds to go in the 1st quarter. Lynn Elliott kicking off. And it's Johnny Bailey at the 1 returning. And Johnny Bailey with a fine return takes it out to the 29-yard line. He has averaged nearly 38 yards a kickoff return. Dixon Edwards on the stop. Timeout. We'll be right back. Aeneas Williams went for the fake, burned on the touchdown. What did Norv Turner of the Cowboys say about him?
Well, Aeneas had a rough game last week. Barnett burned him a couple times on some long passes, and Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator for Dallas, says, look, you don't assume it's going to happen, but you owe it to yourself to test them and test them early.
They did. 1st down on the 29-yard line. Russell Maryland is in for Jimmy Jones. and right defensive tackle with 9 seconds to go in the first quarter. Chandler gives it to Ivory Lee Brown, spins away, and really gets a yard is all. As the final seconds tick off in the quarter, Tony Tolbert and Charles Haley make the stop. So it was an exciting, a lot of fireworks in this first quarter, but that is the end of the first quarter with the score: the Dallas Cowboys 14 and the Phoenix Cardinals 7. Start of the second quarter, when Joe Bugle talked with you yesterday, he got into the seat. He said it's kind of a warm, hot seat, isn't it?
He kind of goes to sit down and goes, ooh, hot seat. You know, he is under a little pressure in Phoenix. Rumors started by Fred Edelstein. And you got to remember, though, Fred Edelstein's the same guy that announced the day before the Cardinals named Bugle head coach that the Cardinals were going to name Fritz Schirmer the head coach. So he was a little off on that one.
2nd down and 8. Chandler escapes from the rush and picks up a couple of yards. It was Charles Haley who caught up with him, and a pickup of 3 when it looked like the Cowboys had him trapped. And a good pass rush by Tony Casillas up front, though.
See Charles Haley holding his arm, got a little AstroTurf burn, and Chandler does a very nice job of evading Tony Casillas. Had him by the foot, he pulls out. Now you see a little speed on the standpoint of Charles Haley coming way from the other side to make that tackle on Chandler. You know, Charles is a guy that, remember, was an outside linebacker basically at San Francisco, now being played full-time as a defensive end with that hand down on the ground.
3rd down and 5 from the 34 of the Cardinals. Chandler up the middle, and the pass is caught. And that was Ernie Jones with the catch, short of a first down by a couple of yards, gain of only 4. And again, you have to wonder when you need 5 yards, while a passing pattern would be short of the sticks, but that one was.
Well, I think Ernie Jones actually went to run that pass pattern right at the sticks, and Chandler threw that ball kind of low and inside on him, and he had to come back to it. Cleveland up 14-0 on the Raiders. You don't think Al Davis is pacing a box somewhere in that stadium, do you?
He may change from that white outfit he likes to wear to all black. 4th down and 1, and the Cardinals, who were successful going for it in the first quarter, will try again, but they're in their own territory, the 38, and the give is to Ivory Lee Brown, who dives forward for the first down. Little gamble, and why not, for Joe Bugle. Got to try everything today, and it was Ray Horton who made the top.
This isn't real complicated, but watch the middle linebacker Jones. He's the key to a short yardage play in the middle. Where he fills and where he goes dictates. He fills up to the front right. Brown sees a hole back left, and that's where he gets his first down. Interesting call by Joe Bugle in his own territory, back like this. Remember, their punter, Rich Camarillo's got a pulled leg muscle. That might be entering into his thought process.
First down on the 42-yard line. And Ivory Lee Brown off left tackle. He's 245 pounds and shows it there as he bursts forth for 5 yards. Robert Jones, the rookie middle linebacker, in on the stop.
Yeah, he's 245 like Bubba Paris, who I used to play with in San Francisco, was listed at 299. Bugle insists this guy's 260, and he's got the legs, the thighs, the buttocks, and the lower legs of an offensive lineman, about a 310-pound offensive lineman. So, I mean, look at that. He fills that package out pretty good.
Jim Jeffcoat is in for Tony Tolbert at defensive end on 2nd and 5. They go to Brown again, looking for room. No room there, and he is stopped just shy of midfield. He'll pick up 3, however, and Ken Norton making the tackle.
I'm a little mystified at the moment. When you have success throwing the ball, as Phoenix has had on occasion, why you keep insisting on blasting things right up the middle. I mean, there's guys outside, there's guys on the left, there's guys on the right, and here's what they had coming into the game. I mean, they want to establish a running game. They've changed 2 linemen, but take what the defense is giving you. Johnny Bailey and Ricky Prohl are in as extra wide receivers on 3rd and 3, and they're clustered to the top of your picture. Chandler's pass is caught, and that's to Butch Roll, the tight end, and that'll be a first down into Cowboy territory. A pickup of 8 yards on the play. Kenneth Gant making the tackle.
So Chandler is trying to be patient here to bring the Cardinals back, who had trailed 7-0 and now down 14-7.
Butch Rolls lined up right in the wing position, right on the right side of the screen. You saw him fake a little pass block there on Tolbert or Haley and just get it in the zone, and Billy Bates just slams him down.
And a first down on the 43 of Dallas. Chandler. And he gets it off to Iverly Brown out of the backfield, and Brown still going, has a first down. He's still going, and a penalty marker is thrown, and Iverly Brown finally is tackled at the 16-yard line. What a play for the Cardinals when it appeared that Chandler was going down on a sack, and a gain of 27 pending the penalty.
You always look at who the maddest guy on the field is after you see a flag go down, and Ernie Jones, number 86, got right in the back judge's face when he threw that flag. Thought so. Illegal use of hands, probably on a wide receiver, but that was a great run by Iverly Brown. That's the kind of stuff a guy 6'2", 260, a running back, should be doing. Not sporting around. You got to be running people over.
And he was wide open when he caught the pass. James Washington.
Illegal block, number 82 of the offense, 10 yards, still first down.
It's Butch Roll, illegal use of the hands, and Washington, the Cowboys' strong safety, shaken up on the play, and we'll take a break. 10:21 remaining in the first half.
Great job of improvisation by Chandler here. He's about to be sacked by Maryland. Just does catch his guy at the very last second. Brown. Now watch Brown. This is called running mad. You're hitting people. There's Butch Roll right there, 82. Clips Washington in the back, but he will not go down. He's running with a little mad on. That's good.
It is still first down, and they're working on James Washington. Robert Williams, who returned a block punt for a touchdown against the Giants last week, has replaced Washington in the Cowboys secondary.
And remember that trade, though, Dick, the Cowboys are making with the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Steelers safety Everett. Local guy, went to Baylor, plays safety. Another example of Dallas kind of stockpiling talent where maybe you wouldn't expect them to do it, but they've upgraded their defense, and that'll be finalized tomorrow.
Yeah, they don't need the draft choices as much as they need the veterans now. First down and 7 from the 40-yard line. Three wide receivers all to the right, and the fake to Johnny Johnson, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Ernie Jones. So Johnny Johnson makes his first appearance in the backfield for the Cardinals.
Now that's one of those plays there by the Cardinals. You watch that play and you go, what was that? You know, they kind of went left and faked a little play action. Then Chandler rolled right, tried to throw a pass, but there really was nobody around, and Tolbert was in his face to keep him from throwing the ball further than about 15 yards.
It'll be second down and 7. The 10th play of the drive coming up. Ed Cunningham has replaced Danny Villa at center. Cunningham, rookie out of the University of Washington. Just under 10 minutes to play in the first half. And on the fake draw, Chandler in trouble, throws the ball over the head of Butch Roll. Incomplete. The protection broke down in a big way, and that'll bring up 3rd and 7.
Well, you know, Chandler was sucking that whole rush in with that fake screen look one way, fake screen back left. He wanted to throw that screen to the H-back, Butch Roll. They had it set up, but the defense of the Cowboys smelled a rat, and they infiltrated the entire blocking scheme. Butch Roll, number 82 for the Cardinals, is kind of a tackle who's lost enough weight to wear an 80s number and gets to play H-back for Joe Bugle in this kind of Redskin offense.
And he looks like a wide receiver. Third down and 7. Chandler's pass, and Johnny Bailey had it and ran before he caught the ball. He was wide open up the middle. It was a sure thing, and he dropped it at the 30-yard line. So that'll bring up 4th down, and the Cardinals miss a big chance there.
Returning kicks and being a pivotal third down back is exactly why Joe Bugle and the Cardinals signed Johnny Bailey. That's your job. You don't get many cracks at it. You got to do it when you get the chance.
So Rich Camarillo, who is not 100%, last in the NFC in kicking, but none of them returned so far this year, and he'll be kicking to Kelvin Martin. This is the second punt for Camarillo. His first one went 73 yards. And a fair catch called for by Martin inside the 10-yard line. Now you wonder why they don't let it bounce. 31-yard kick. Cowboys have not had good field position, but they have the lead. You know, this is the kind of game that really has to have Jimmy Johnson worried, because his team is playing sharp passing offense, which they haven't done this year. Cardinals are hanging in there.
They really are, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're hanging by a thread, but you can't let a team you should beat and a team you should dominate keep chipping down there. The Cardinal offense is moving the ball, whether the pass or now lately they started to run it, and Johnson needs some turnovers now to turn the game in the direction he wants it to go in.
14-7 the score in favor of the Dallas Cowboys, and they'll be starting from the 10-yard line. The average starting position for Dallas has been their own 10-yard line, but they have clicked on 2 long pass plays, Aikman to Michael Irvin twice. And there is that story with 9:39 remaining in the first half.
In spite of this field position, you got to think that Dallas and Troy Aikman are going to keep testing these corners of Phoenix's.
Irvin will go in motion, and Aeneas Williams follows him in the secondary, and the handoff is to Emmett Smith. Gets a good hole off the left side, and Emmett Smith down the sidelines is pushed out of bounds at the 32-yard line by Michael Zordich, and a gain of 22 yards for Emmett.
Something the Cardinals like to do is get as many people as they can inside. Emmitt Smith knows that, and he also knows where the fewest people are, and that's if he can bounce it outside. Getting a good block there from Alvin Harper on the corner on Lorenzo Lynch. But that's a case of speed and having the intelligence and the game planning to know where the people will be once you break that front 7.
And a good start in the game for Emmitt Smith, who has gained 52 yards on 8 carries. Cowboys with a first down at their 32. Again, it's Emmitt Smith, this time up the middle, protecting the ball. And a good gain of 5 yards. Eric Hill, the middle linebacker, one of the 2 for the Cardinals, makes the tackle.
And this is the kind of running game that got Phoenix in trouble last week. Herschel Walker and the Eagles started pounding the ball, pounding the ball. The more they pounded, the more run conscious the safeties, Zordich and McDonald, had to be. And the more run conscious your safeties are, the more on Fantasy Island your 2 little corners are out on the outside, and more apt to bite on those fakes and be beaten long.
And we've seen some of the Fantasy Island so far. 2nd down and 4, and there's Emmitt Smith running for another first down. And he is running wild on this series, which started at the Dallas 10-yard line. That in itself was a 10-yard pickup for Emmitt Smith, the tackle by Lorenzo Lynch.
The last time we saw Emmitt Smith break through here and then go out. Well, this time he breaks through here and then goes out. Looks like basically the same setup, same thought process. There's 8 guys up front. If I break the line of scrimmage, I don't want to go too far inside. I want to go right up the field.
New nose guard for the Cardinals is rookie Michael Bankston from Sam Houston State here in Texas. 1st and 10 on the 48-yard line. Aikman will fire, and he'll fire complete, and a fine catch by Alvin Harper, and that'll be a first down. What a bullet that was by Aikman. A gain of 14 yards with Michael Zordich applying the hit.
Aikman does a good job hanging in the pocket, sees his receiver crossing, and throws it and takes a little shot there from Freddie Joe Nunn. But the guy that makes this play is Alvin Harper, because Zordich is coming the whole way. Did you see the way Zordich started zeroing in on him about 5 yards away? He knew he was going for that big hit. And Harper, just another of the great fast wide receivers out of Tennessee.
Great combination with Harper and Michael Irvin.
Normally 4 catches for 70 would put you in the top of your team, but he's about half as much as Michael Irvin.
First down on the 38, and Emmitt Smith on the pitch. Trying to go outside, and it closes in a hurry by the Cardinals, and that time Smith can pick up only 3 yards. Eric Hill once again in on the stop.
Good patient offensive game plan by Jimmy Johnson and Norv Turner of the Cowboys. They're blasting this ball with the run. They're setting up their play action. And when the runs don't work is when I get the most suspicious. When if you're Fritz Sherman, the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals, when it's not working, I'd be nervous if I was him about them going downtown over the top.
Green Bay edged Cincinnati. You saw the other scores as well, with the 49ers winning and the Eagles trouncing Denver. 2nd down and 8 on the Cardinal 36-yard line. Aikman's quick pass is tipped. He was going for Alfredo Roberts, the tight end, and it was deflected by Freddie Joe Nunn. So third down is coming up.
That's something the Cardinals can do. They're much like the New Orleans Saints in that their starting outside linebackers are also their nickel defensive end rushers, and they put a lot of good pressure on the quarterback. They bring Jones and Eric Swan, last year's #1, up the gut to get that push on the quarterback, and they have 2 speed rushers in Harvey and Nunn to come around the corners.
And that's what the Cardinals will present here with 6:19 remaining in the first half. Third down and 8 coming up for Troy Aikman. And the give is to Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt Smith tackled at the 20-yard line finally. A great call by the Cowboys as Smith on the quick opener picks up 16 yards. Tim McDonald on the stop.
Well, we talked about Eric Swan being a rookie from last year, still sort of learning. Watch what they do to him. Eric, you want to rush the quarterback? Come on up. We're going to trap you from the backside. Watch the penetration Swan gets, and all that does is open a hole bigger and bigger. Nice job by Williams, Newton, Stepnoski. That whole offensive line, perfect trap execution. Watch Swan one more time. Look at what Nate Newton, 61. Doesn't take much when you get that much momentum and body committed to going forward.
And a first down. And into the game is Kirvin Richards, giving Emmitt Smith the breather, and the penalty marker is down as Richards goes off the left tack side and is knocked out of bounds at the 6-yard line by Lorenzo Lynch. Richards, a rookie out of Pittsburgh last year, spent all year on injured reserve, and a face mask call against the Cardinals will move it closer.
What a job by Michael Irvin blocking out there from his wide receiver.
Number 29 on the defense. After the goal, first down.
It was on Lynch who made the tackle, and a first down inside the 5.
Look at Irvin, 88, out there blocking for his buddy, Kirvin Richards. Look at him, got the hands going, got the whole offensive lineman kind of thing going, and you saw that face mask being tugged on at the very end by Lorenzo Lynch.
It'll be first and goal at the 2 for the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith has scored 9 touchdowns in the last 3 games against the Phoenix Cardinals. Let's see if they go to him here. He's back in the lineup. And they go to the up man, Darrell Johnston, who is stopped in his tracks maybe a yard with under 5 minutes remaining in the half. Second and goal coming up.
Well, the thought on that play is that everybody's going laterally. They're thinking Irvin, they're thinking Novacek, they're thinking a flip out to Smith. Maybe we'll beat him inside. But a great job by Jones and Waller in the middle of that defense of stuffing that little play up.
Joe Bugle checking his charts, and the Cowboys send both of their wide receivers, Irvin and Harper, to the sideline. They go with the double tight end. Second and goal at the 2-yard line. And here's Emmitt Smith. He hurdles the line, and no signal yet.
Just short.
Oh, so close for Smith. And third down and maybe less than a yard coming up. Third and goal for the Cowboys.
That was a 2-yard leap on a 2.5-yard play. He just fell down flat, just a little bit short of the goal line. Watch this. Remember, this is a 5'9" halfback, but look at the power and spring that comes out of these legs right there. He's jumping from the 4-yard line, trying to hurdle in from the 4. I mean, let's figure that one out on feet. That's trying to do a dead flip forward dive from over 12 feet away.
Thanks, but no. Third and goal on the 1-yard line. Play fake. Aikman has time. His pass to Novacek. And no flag is thrown. Aikman is screaming at the official. Lorenzo Lynch was defending against Jay Novacek and now is arguing with the back judge, Jim Poole.
Well, Emmitt Smith doesn't like it. Troy Aikman doesn't like it. But if you watch that play, it was a case of who's holding who. Was Novacek holding Lynch, or was Lynch holding Novacek? Right here. Look at Jay's got his hand back, and he's trying not to fall. That is not interference. I don't care what the Cowboys or their fans think. That is just a ball. Novacek fell.
And the Cowboys will go for it on 4th and goal. And here's Emmitt Smith, and Smith's second effort is in for the touchdown.
Well, he tried to dive in from the 4. Where does he take off this time? 3, third. Oh, there you go. It was extra 3 feet. He only has to jump 9 feet to get in. That second effort right there just gets him over the top. That was the case of the entire line. Everything just surging forward because his initial jump didn't get him in.
So that is the 10th touchdown for Emmitt Smith against the Cardinals in the last 4 games he has played, or 3.5. And now Lynn Elliott will try for the conversion with Steve Berline holding. The kick is good, and it's now 21-7 in favor of the Cowboys as Emmitt Smith gained 58 yards on that drive alone and has 88 yards in the game. Back at Texas Stadium, along with Randy Cross, this is Dick Stockton. And the Dallas Cowboys trying to make it 3-0 in this season with a bye week coming up next week for NFC Eastern clubs. And Emmitt Smith with the big touchdown, 10 career touchdowns against the Cardinals, and that's only in less than 4 games. Here's the kickoff by Lynn Elliott, deep into the end zone, way out of the end zone, and the Cardinals will start from the 20.
Well, this is time for Joe Bugle and the Cardinals to turn those helmets around and use a little baseball analogy, put the rally caps on.
They need something. 3:25 remaining in the half. If you've just joined us, a great exhibition of ball control and passing, aerial wizardry. Emmitt Smith already with 88 yards. Michael Irvin with 143 yards, combined 3 touchdowns, and it's 21-7 as the Cardinals start 1st and 10 from the 20. And Johnny Johnson, seeing his first action, he was a holdout and was exempt from the roster. He's in the lineup. Chandler to throw on 1st down. Butch roll is hit by Vincent Smith and knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
And Charles Haley working here against Louise Sharp as a defensive end, and when he smells blood, he smells pass, he can go after him. But you know what? Louise Sharp is an all-pro and a Pro Bowler, and he can hold his own against a guy like Charles.
Sharp's been around a long time for the Cardinals. The offensive line at one point was their strongest point for many years. Undergoing a lot of changes. 2nd down and 5 from the 25-yard line. Chandler rushed, fires it incomplete. Johnson, the intended receiver, off his fingertips. And a good rush that time by Jimmy Jones.
And they had Charles Haley rushing straight over on top of Louise Sharp, and Jones came around the outside. A hole opened up because Haley was taking up so much room with the 2 bodies of he and Sharp. Little stunt. See a lot more of that for the rest of this half and next half. Dallas will be going after the quarterback.
2 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the first half. 3rd down and 5 from the 25. 3 wide receivers for the Cardinals. And on the draw play, and the give is to Johnny Bailey, who's been used as a pass receiver, a kick returner, and a running back. And he picks up 11 yards to give the Cardinals little hope here as we get close to the 2-minute warning. 1st down, Cardinals at the 37.
Nice play call by Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator of the Cardinals. When you got a defensive line that's thinking pass rush, great time to pop a quick back like Johnny Bailey threw on a draw.
1st down at the 37. This may be the last play before the 2-minute warning, and Chandler overthrowing Randall Hill, and he was well covered downfield by Isaac Holt. And with 1:56 on the clock, we'll have our 2-minute warning here at Texas Stadium, with the Cowboys leading the Cardinals 21-7. Want to remind you, coming up at halftime, Greg and Terry with scores and highlights. Each team has 3 timeouts remaining. We've had our 2-minute warning, 1:56 showing on the clock. The Cardinals will come to the line 2nd and 10 on the 37-yard line. Chandler has completed only 1 of his last 6 passing attempts. Johnny Bailey is the one back. On a stunt. Chandler gets rid of it, and the pass is caught by Ernie Jones, and he'll get some extra yards out of it and is out of bounds just shy of midfield. It'll be enough for another Cardinal first down, a pickup of 12. Larry Brown making the tackle on the play after Kenneth Gant missed Ernie Jones.
And a nice job by the line up front of keeping some protection for Chandler on that play. None of the linemen for the Dallas Cowboys got anywhere near Chandler. Gave him the time to do that.
Chandler was a third-round draft choice with the Indianapolis Colts. Played at Tampa Bay last year, and they got rid of him because he said Vinny Testaverde was totally inept, and they thought he was too disruptive. So that was all for Chandler, but they welcomed him in Phoenix. Glad they have him with Rosenbaugh out. 1st and 10 on the 49-yard line. There's a fake and a deep throw to Randall Hill, and Randall Hill has it inside the 15 and close to the 10-yard line. He beat Isaac Holt. A bullet throw by Chandler and a gain of 41 yards, and it's first down.
Whoever said there's nothing a little personal about football? Watch this matchup. Little chicken fight, little hand fighting going on. Receiver, defensive back. Holt, Hill, I'll push you, you push me, I'll tug you, but I'll catch the ball. Ha, ha, ha. Look at this.
Randall Hill earlier caught a 34-yard touchdown pass to give the Cardinals a 7-7 game, and now may bring the Cardinals back to within one touchdown.
Another example of what we talked about earlier, Dick. Dallas is letting the Cardinals stay in this ball game, and the Cardinals will take full advantage of it. They've got the talent to put this in the end zone.
1st and 10 on the 11, and the crossing pattern intended for Ricky Prohl, and he was hit hard. And that'll bring up 2nd down with 1:37 showing on the clock. Larry Brown defending on the play. He's an unsung member of the Cowboys secondary, picked on the 12th round a couple of years ago.
And he's the defensive back. If the Cardinals have their druthers, that's who they would like to go after in these type of situations, is get somebody on Larry Brown. They've taken advantage of Ike Holt on the other corner so far with Randall Hill.
Johnny Johnson is the running back. 2nd and 10 at the 11-yard line. There's a pass to Roll, and he's hit immediately by Ken Norton. And the Cardinals will use up their first timeout with 1.5 minutes to play. A gain of only 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down when we return. Cardinals have used a timeout. It'll be 3rd and 6 on the 7-yard line, and you know they've got 2 downs to try to score. They've been successful on 2 4th-down conversions.
On that last play, Dick, Phoenix had in their 2 tight end formation. Dallas stayed in their standard defense. Right now, Phoenix has put all 3 wide receivers back in the game, and as soon as Dallas saw that, and Dave Wanstad, their coordinator on the sideline, he immediately put his nickel package in the game. So obviously, Phoenix and Joe Bugel are thinking, let's get it to my money guys, my skill guys. Randall Hill, Ricky Prohl, Ernie Jones.
3rd down and 6. The Cardinals can get a first down without scoring. They spread the offense with Randall Hill wide to the right. Cowboys were blitzing, and there's a fade pattern, and the pass incomplete, intended for Prohl.
Oh, that could have easily been pass interference on Brown. He never looked back for the ball.
And Chandler is arguing with the side judge about that, as Aikman did at the other side, but Chandler may have a good beef here.
That is a terrible lack of a call, I think. Does he look back?
Never.
No. Does he run into him? Yes. That is pass interference. Bad call, or bad no call.
It hit Brown on the back of the helmet. He didn't have any idea where the ball was, and so they will not go for it on 4th down. Kind of a surprise, and instead will try for the 3 points unless there's a fake.
Yeah, I think this is a good decision by Joe Bugel. You're going to take your points, and you're going to go back in only by 11 instead of 14.
Greg Davis with a 25-yard attempt. The kick is blocked, but there are 2 penalty markers, 3 actually, on the field.
That play has been blown dead. That was early movement, and Washington can save himself a little exercise and come on back with the ball.
Let's see if there was a problem with the snap, in which case there would be a legal procedure against the Cardinals.
Well, there's enough laundry on the field down there, a bunch of yellow rags all over the place.
Is that what you guys call them, rags?
Oh, we call them a lot of different things.
But you can mention rags.
Yeah, I can mention that one, right.
Red Cashin in a conference. There's a rag.
You know the worst thing about those rags is They got great aim with those suckers, too, because they can throw those things and hit you with them when you do a penalty.
Encroachment by the defense. Half the distance to the goal, still 4th down.
Well, it's still 4th down, half the distance. They needed 6 yards, so they'll move it up 3 yards. Greg Davis is still out there for the Cardinals.
I think you still kick this field goal. I think you still put these 3 points on the board and get a little momentum. You know, Bugle talked about us yesterday when we were talking to him about getting a little of that mo, as he talks about, and 3 points is good enough momentum here to go in at the half.
Greg Davis has attempted only 1 field goal so far this year, a 48-yarder against the Eagles, which he missed. So still looking for his first success of the year. Bugle had gone for it on 4th and 1, both in his own territory and in the Cowboys' territory in this first half, and was successful both times. But he wants the 3 points now, and Chandler is out to hold for Greg Davis.
And if I'm the Cardinals right now, I'm concerned about Davis making this. I want him to make it, but I got to get my defense on the sideline and say, hey, guys, the Cowboys can put the ball in the end zone in short order. Let's get ready.
22-yard field goal attempt. And Davis's kick is good with 1:23 remaining. So the Cowboys still have enough time and all 3 of their timeouts after Davis makes good on his first field goal of the year. And the score now at the Cowboys 21 and the Cardinals 10.
Well, here's where we see if Fritz Shurmur and the Phoenix Cardinals go into the dreaded prevent defense. I hated it when I was playing. I don't like watching it now. Defenses in this situation stop attacking, they back up, they get soft, and how often have you seen teams just march down the field? Is Fritz Shurmur there, the defensive coordinator, going to do that, or will he keep this defense aggressive?
Let's bring you up to date on the early games today. Minnesota sends Tampa Bay to its first defeat of the year. The Bengals lose their first game of the season.
How about that Philadelphia-Denver? Whoa. That is not the place. You don't want to go into the vet with that defense to get down early. I don't care if you are John Elway.
49ers rebound from their loss to Buffalo last week. Greg and Terry will bring you up to date and have highlights on many of these games as well coming up. Greg Davis will kick off for the Cardinals, who trail by 11, 21-10. Alexander Wright is on the left, and Kenneth Gant, number 29, on the right.
Dallas is probably the fastest team in the NFL, and here's a good time where your speed can help you. You have to move the ball quickly, and guys that can run are invaluable.
A line drive kick, and it's going to be returnable for Wright if he gets it. The ball was headed into his hands, and he was waiting for it, and all of a sudden it bit and went the other way, and so as a result, Wright has to down it on the 11-yard line.
He's sitting down on the ground right there. Kenneth Gant helping him up. He's got to be sitting there going, God, do I have to go to the sideline? If I go to the sideline, I'm going to hear about this from the coach. You know, Joe Avezzano is a great special teams coach. Last year's NFL Special Teams Coach of the Year. And he's got to be a little distressed with the action so far of Wright and Martin, his kick returners.
See what Aikman does here. The Cowboys will start from their 11-yard line. Aikman already with 2 touchdown passes to Michael Irvin in this first half.
It'll be conservative no matter what they do. This is bad field position to take risks at the end of a half.
Handoff is to Emmitt Smith, and he is stopped cold and might have lost a couple of yards on the play. He did, and it was Eric Swan who made the tackle, and immediately a timeout is called by Phoenix, because they can sense that they may get their hands on the ball again.
Well, Phoenix is in that nickel defense we talked about, where guys like Swan and Jones are coming up the middle, and you got Harvey and Nunn shooting off the sides, and it was a good job by those inside two, Jones and Swan, of stuffing that run up and smelling that draw. That's their job. Now's the time of a game plan. Now's a play call. You look for a Jay Novacek. It's very conservative. He can get you down the field. He can get into a seam of a defense, and it's a lot easier to get a ball to him with low risk involved.
1 minute and 14 seconds remain. Fritz Shurmur, who was with the Rams before coming over to the Cardinals last year as the defensive coordinator, had been with the New England Patriots as well. Second down and 12 from the 9-yard line. And here is Emmitt Smith, who's had a terrific first half, and he carries it out to the 14-yard line. Tyrone Stowe making the tackle, and a pickup of 5 yards.
And at this rate, with this play calling, running the ball in here like this, Phoenix will get the ball back.
Cardinals have apparently used up another timeout, and they have none left. But if they prevent a first down on this play coming up, they will get the ball back and can perhaps get even closer to field goal range. Phoenix out of timeout.
Well, Johnson is playing this extremely close to the vest. He doesn't want to take any chances. He doesn't want to put this ball in the air right now. He wants to take his 11-point lead and go into the locker room.
Emmitt Smith, by the way, has gained 91 yards this afternoon. He came in tied with Herschel Walker for the NFC rushing lead after 2 weeks. Walker gained 53 yards in the Eagles' romp over Denver today. So Smith will be the leader, I'm sure.
If they're throwing here, it's a quick flip or a screen.
3rd down and 6 from the 15-yard line. And the give is to Emmitt Smith, who is tripped up and down as the clock winds down to a minute with 2-yard gain. Cardinals will get their hands on the ball again, but they're not going to have a lot of time to do anything with it.
There's going to be about 19 seconds left when they get the ball back here. Dallas is in no hurry. Seems Phoenix is in no hurry. Looks like we got a bunch of people down in the field just want to get into the locker room right now and get a cold drink.
Mike Saxton will kick, and Johnny Bailey wants to return one more before that cold drink.
And there's this case where Dale Hillistray, the center, number 70 on the punt team, is going to sit here right until the time expires and snap that ball right at the last second.
And a booming kick by Saxon end over end, and here's Bailey on his own 40-yard line. And Bailey gets into Cowboy territory and is hit immediately by Vincent Smith after a 13-yard return, and that will stop the clock with 10 seconds to go. So the Cowboys basically have to go to an out pattern, I think, to complete a pass and stop the clock.
Well, I think what the Cardinals need to do here with Randall Hill, the speed guys, Hill and Jones, is just get your trips formation. You know, we got that cluster working, and you just send those 3 guys down and say, run as fast as you can. Prohl, Jones, and Hill. I got 2 shots. I'm going to go into the end zone. Let's see what happens.
Randall Hill will come out wide right. In fact, so will Prohl and Ernie Jones. On the Cowboy 47-yard line. Prevent defense for Dallas. They have 3 men back, and Chandler on the run pass, and it's caught by Ernie Jones, and they rule it a catch with 3 seconds to go inside the 30-yard line. A gain of 18. Kevin Smith defending, and the Cardinals will have a chance for 3 more.
Got a penalty flag down on the field right off the line of scrimmage, though.
And it's against the Cardinals, and so you can scratch that idea in a hurry.
What a big play, because that was well within Greg Davis's field goal range. In pregame, he was popping them from 50, 52. That would have been a 47-yarder.
Don't losing teams make mistakes like that?
The chronically losing team make mistakes like that, and Phoenix is definitely that.
Receiver on the left side of the line, 5 yards, still first down.
Jones made a terrific catch at the sideline, but it's all nullified now.
And they call an ineligible receiver on the left side of the line. Who's going to call this back, makes that a procedure call. But Jones, great concentration, feet in right on the 30-yard line, would have been a 47-yard field goal. Now you got to think it's either a Hail Mary or a drop on the ball.
Well, they got Alvin Harper. The Cowboys have Harper as a deep safety. As Chandler, with time running out, will go for it here. And there's his pass into the crowd. Short of the goal line, it's knocked down. And that'll do it for the first half as Alvin Harper knocks down the pass by Chandler. And that'll do it. And that is the end of the first half here at Texas Stadium in Irving with the score, the Dallas Cowboys 21 and the Phoenix Cardinals 10.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. Pringles, so fresh, once you pop, you can't stop. And by Payne Weber, we believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships. up-to-date Dockers Halftime Report is sponsored by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does color like Dockers.
And those of you who have been watching Phoenix Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys, welcome back to our studios here in New York. Greg Gumbel along with Terry Bradshaw. Emmett Smith running, Troy Aikman throwing, Michael Irvin catching, and the Cowboys lead the Cardinals by a score of 21-10. Now at RFK Stadium in Washington, the Redskins with a 10-3 halftime lead over the Detroit Lions. The only touchdown of the game from Ernest Biner.
Counter Trey, you got to stop it if you're going to play against the Redskins. Barry Sanders only 23 yards rushing in the first half.
And Chip Lohmiller, a 53-yard field goal for the Redskins, 10-3 Washington. They're also at halftime at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. The Dolphins leading the Rams 17-0. Dan Marino has thrown a couple of touchdown passes, including this one.
Has anyone ever said he has a quick release? There it is, down the sideline. Good first half for Dan.
17-0 Miami is leading the Rams. They're at halftime in San Diego. The Chargers trail the Steelers 7-6. Neil O'Donnell has thrown a TD pass to Adrian Cooper. And the Browns lead the Raiders 14-3 as they approach halftime in Los Angeles. And Todd Marinovich, 125 yards. He has fumbled the ball once, and he has thrown an interception, and the Raiders are trailing Cleveland. Now, earlier this afternoon, we'll begin with the Eagles and the Broncos in Philadelphia. They said, the fans said, no way, John Elway, and they were correct. He was sacked 3 times today, twice by Clyde Simmons. As for Randall Cunningham, what's the best pattern in all of football?
It's the crossing route. Look at this. Beautiful job. 3 touchdown passes for Cunningham. If you can run, you can throw.
And Randall credits the D with a 30-0 win.
You know, our defense went out and did the job and gave Elway a tough day. You know, that's probably the toughest we had to play under pressure this year, so we've got to keep on going.
In Atlanta, Chris Miller going against the Saints. What's the best pattern in all of football, Jerry?
Greg, you're so smart. Crossing route, Greg, but it's nice to have a quarterback like Miller who can move around and avoid the sack.
7-0 Atlanta, but then Bobby Hebert, an 11-yarder to Quinn Early to tie it up. And then with 1:51 to play in the game, Morton Anderson from 47 yards out. That gives the Saints their 8th win in their last 10 regular season trips to Atlanta. 10-7 the final. 49ers at the Jets. John Taylor lost for 8 weeks with a broken left leg. Ken O'Brien given a tough day by the 49er defense, but Steve Young had a terrific day offensively for San Francisco.
Well, when you play against Steve Young, you have to get into zones, because if you don't, here's what will happen inside the 20. You jump into man coverage. Who's going to cover Steve Young if he scrambles? Nobody's there. Nice run by Young.
In Minnesota, Tampa Bay looking for a 3-0 start. The Vikings lost quarterback Rich Gannon on this play. Number 71, Santana Dotson hit him first, and then number 52, Keith McCants, bruised right hand, finished him for the day. Steve DeBerg came on for an injured Vinny Testaverde for Tampa Bay and played well.
Steve played real well. Nice little step up, avoided the sack, got the ball down to Hawkins. Hawkins gets into the end zone. Actually, now they're only behind by 6 points.
And Sean Salisbury in relief of Gannon. His first career touchdown pass, that one to Chris Carter, and the Vikings hold on for the win 26-20. In Green Bay, Don Majkowski helped off with an injured ankle. On came Brett Favre.
Favre, beautiful job. There's the pump again, just to freeze the strong safety and allow that time Taylor to get down the sideline. And Favre, second-year guy out of Southern Mississippi, beautiful job.
That was the game winner in the final seconds, 24-23. In Houston, Kansas City's J.J. Burden loses the handle.
Say it ain't so, Greg. This game is lost right here. There's a recovery by the Oilers, and then the field goal.
Al Del Greco with 2 minutes gone in overtime from 39 yards out. And the Oilers go to 2-1, hand the Chiefs their first loss of the season, 23-20 in overtime. And at New England, Chris Warren, a 3-yard touchdown run. This is the only TD of the day.
I hope I got a tape of this. I want to watch this later.
Seahawks over the Patriots. The final score is 10-6. Now, one baseball note for you. In the National League, the Pittsburgh Pirates in 13 innings beat the Philadelphia Phillies 3-2. This game featured the first unassisted triple play in more than 24 years in the majors. Jeff King, the liner to Mickey Morandini, with runners at first and second. He tagged for the force at second to double up the runner at second, and then Barry Bonds coming in from first base. The unassisted triple play, the ironic thing is Jeff King drove in the game winner in the bottom of the 13th, and the Pirates beat the Philadelphia Phillies by a score of 3-2. Did you get all that?
No, I don't know anything about baseball.
The NFL continues here on CBS after this word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. Chrysler Corporation and your local Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers. And by Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price.
Back at Texas Stadium, Dick Stockton and Randy Cross. At halftime, the Cowboys lead the Cardinals 21-10. And taking a look at the halftime statistics, Randy, and a big edge to no one's surprise, Dallas rushing versus the Cardinals rushing.
That is a big stat there. 35 yards from the Phoenix Cardinals. They got to do a little bit better than that. The thing to watch, though, in this second half is turnovers. Neither team has committed a turnover, and it had to be 2 very contrasting locker rooms at halftime. Jimmy Johnson could not have been very, very happy with the performance of his Cowboys, and Joe Bugel must have been like an evangelist in his locker room. We can do it. It's there. I mean, just straight off TV.
And he's got to think he can. Down 21-10. The Cowboys have not been especially sharp in this game. If you take away some of the long pass plays that they clicked on, the Cardinals could very easily be in the lead.
And I'm sure Jimmy Johnson was pouring the coals to it, too, thinking about last week. Up 27-0, took the first possession of the third quarter in, made it 34-0, and then everybody decided to start putting their orders in for the charter to see what they're going to have for dinner, and it got pretty ugly, and it almost got real ugly for the Cowboys. So it's a pressure situation for the Cowboys to perform here in the second half.
Well, Jimmy Johnson knows that the Cowboys are better and they're good, but they may not be as good as most fans think right now. They're not there yet, and that's his sincere feeling coming into this game, and I'm sure he feels the same way after the first half.
Remember, this is the youngest team in the NFL. It's a maturity check. We mentioned it early.
Lynn Elliott will kick off for the Cowboys. Johnny Bailey and Anthony Edwards are back deep for the Cardinals. And it's going to be Johnny Bailey at the 1-yard line. Bailey, who's one of the best at kickoff returns in this young year, is stopped by Larry Brown after a 28-yard return. So the Cardinals will go to work. Chris Chandler, who completed 11 of 20 for 139 yards and 1 touchdown pass. That to Randall Hill to tie the game at 7-7 at one point.
And generally speaking, Chandler has gotten some very good pass protection from his offensive line. Remember, Rick Cunningham, the second-year player out of Texas A&M, is starting at right tackle, and Mark May is now starting over at left guard next to Louise Sharp.
Ivory Lee Brown, who started the game, is in at running back again. First down at the 29-yard line. Johnny Johnson replaced him for most of the second quarter. Play action on first down, and Chandler's pass will be caught by Ricky Prohl, who steps out of bounds just short of midfield, and a pickup of 19 yards with Larry Brown defending.
It's a good job by that Phoenix offense of executing that play action there, because that pass play took a long time to develop. Prohl came all the way over from the right side, crossed the field over to the left side to make that catch.
Ricky Prohl, who came into the game with 7 receptions, that is his first catch of the game for the Cardinals. A good, sure-handed receiver from New Jersey. And it'll be a first down for the Cardinals on their 48-yard line. Chandler with a quick toss again to Prohl, who's hit immediately by Brown. Fumble, and a loose ball, and let's see. The Cowboys recover. And that's the first turnover of the game.
A classic job of catch and strip, because Ricky Prohl's going to get this ball, then watch the arms be pulled back by Brown right there. I don't know. If this is replay, that isn't a fumble. That is another call that has gone against Phoenix, because there's no way that was a fumble.
Jimmy Jones with the apparent recovery for the Cowboys. The Cardinals got the short end of what an apparent face guarding call against Brown in the end zone that would have been a touchdown or first and goal in the first half. Now the Cowboys have it first down on their 48-yard line. Aikman will go to the air on first down, and his pass is caught by Michael Irvin, and he is wrestled out of bounds by Lorenzo Lynch. But a first down, 13-yard pickup into Cardinal territory.
And now's the time, if you're Fred Sherman, the defensive coordinator for Phoenix, again, you're thinking this is a powerful offense. This is a dangerous offense with a lot of tools. I'm worried about Emmitt Smith. I don't want him running a lot against me, but I'm more worried about Alvin Harper and Irvin out there going the long way downtown for a touchdown.
Emmitt Smith gained 94 yards in the first half. Irvin now with 4 catches in the game. First down on the 38-yard line. He's caught 2 scores. Aikman will throw, and up the middle is Michael Irvin at the 30. He's inside the 20-yard line, and the Cowboys are in business. Lorenzo Lynch making the tackle and a pickup, that time of 21.
And just a wonderful job by Troy Aikman of knowing where he wants to go with it and having the patience to stand in, reading the coverage to the right, sees Irvin crossing from the left, does a nice job of laying that in. Look at Lynch trying to strip from behind. You saw that right hand come up, and he just missed that swipe at the ball.
So Michael Irvin having his most productive game yardage-wise of his young career, and a first down for the Dallas Cowboys. They're on the 17 of the Cardinals. Here is Emmitt Smith on the move and hit immediately. And the middle got stopped quickly by Tyrone Stowe, former Plan B from Pittsburgh, in a gain of only 1 for Smith.
Emmitt Smith is a back that likes to bounce around and juke and move and make people commit, and that opens up gaps in defenses.
Getting close to the 100-yard mark. He has gained 100 or more yards in his last 4 games here at Texas Stadium, and headed for another one. Second down and 9 for Dallas on the 16. 2 tight ends for Dallas. And Aikman's pass across the middle is in the air, incomplete, intended for Michael Irvin, and it was Aeneas Williams defending him on the crossing pattern.
That throw was just a little bit off by Troy Aikman. He throws that high and left at the left shoulder of Michael Irvin. Watch him come in from the right side. Aeneas Williams has got coverage, but he is open, and that ball is zipped in there just a little bit high and left.
Cowboys trying to get something out of this after the first turnover of the game. Cardinals coughed it up when they just got into Dallas territory. Now it's a 3rd down and 9 for Dallas. Still playing with 2 tight ends. Aikman looking, and the pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage by Jeff Faulkner. And 4th down coming up, and the Cowboys will try to add 3 to their total of 11.
Faulkner knocked that down, but boy, it was a nice job by Harvey, the outside linebacker, on Novacek. He's who Aikman was trying to go to. He's trying to flip it out here, and Faulkner just gets in there and tips that ball, but Harvey was all over Novacek.
Lynn Elliott, who kicked his first NFL field goals last week against the Giants. This one will be from 34 yards out. Steve Berline is the holder, the backup quarterback. Elliott's kick is blocked and recovered by the Cardinals inside their 5-yard line, and run out to the 15 by Steve Height. So the Cardinals, who coughed the ball up, block a field goal attempt by the rookie Lynn Elliott, and they'll take over when we return to Texas Stadium.
Nothing turns momentum around quicker than a big special teams play. Watch Eric Swan working against Newton here, get a block. Dallas has done this to the last 2 opponents, had big plays on special teams with blocks, and that big paw of Eric Swan's gets one now. That's got to take a little wind out of your sails when you're Dallas. You drive the ball, you're looking sharp, you're kind of got that swagger and sting to your walk, and suddenly they turn you away, and Swan blocks a kick on you.
Cowboys are keeping the Cardinals in this game. 12:03 remaining in the 3rd quarter. First down on the 17 for Phoenix. Play action fake. Chandler gets away from one rusher, and he flips it out of the backfield to Ivory Lee Brown, and the big running back has a first down beyond the 35-yard line, or on the 35. A gain of 18 yards with the rookie Robert Jones defending for Dallas.
Nice job by Chandler doing an imitation of a Roman Gabriel kind of move. Big defensive lineman Jones burrowing down on him, gets his arms around him, and Chandler throws him off. Great job by Chandler keeping his poise.
Changes in the Cardinal offensive line. Sharp and May are on the left side, but Ed Cunningham had replaced Danny B at center. Vernon Smith is the right guard, with Rick Cunningham the right tackle.
Cunningham was hobbled after that last play.
First down on the 35 of Phoenix. And on the draw play, Ivory Lee Brown, who burned up the World League, averaging nearly 5 yards a carry, picks up 5 right there, with Robert Jones making the tackle.
do wonders for the Cardinals' confidence offensively to get this running game going. Only 35 yards rushing in the first half. If they can start popping Ivory Lee Brown loose, big momentum builder.
Why does he just call himself Ivory Brown? That'll make it a lot easier for us to see. Second down and 5. And again, the draw play, and Brown, he's tough to bring down, and he picks up about 3 yards on that play. And Ray Horton, the free safety, who had a strained hamstring and was questionable earlier in the week, but playing today, makes the stop.
Well, Ivory Lee Brown is one of those running backs you don't want a corner or a crease on him. At 6'2", 260, you better, it's like in baseball where you're trying to hit it right in that sweet spot on the wood of the bat. You better catch Ivory Lee Brown right in the sweet spot in the middle if you're going to bring him down, because he'll run right through you.
James Washington, who was shaken up in the first half, back in at strong safety for the Cowboys. Third down and 2 for the Cardinals. Chandler, couple of fakes, watch out, loose ball, Cowboys have it. Tony Tolbert forced the fumble, and it's recovered by Tony Casillas, and Dallas has the ball again.
Chandler never saw Tolbert coming. Never saw him coming. That was a play that was designed to be gone and released within a couple of seconds. Chandler just held that ball too long and paid the price.
And he is shaken up. The backup quarterback is Tony Sacca, the rookie from Penn State, and Chris Chandler is on the field shaken up.
Well, you talk about that sweet spot on the baseball bat. This must have sounded like an aluminum bat home run in the College World Series right there. Biyaka. Woof. That had to hurt. One more time. Watch Tolbert working against Cunningham. That's not the lineman's fault. The quarterback steps up like that. The tackle has no idea, and Tolbert drives right through the quarterback.
Tony Sacca, second-round draft choice, is the backup quarterback. The Cardinals this week signed Eric Wilhelm, the former Cincinnati Bengal. Mark Herman had been in for a tryout. Wilhelm is inactive for this game. Chandler gets up and walking off on his own power. Joe Bugle out to see that he's all right.
Shaking the cobwebs off there.
Been a rough year for Cardinal quarterbacks. Tim Rosenbaugh was injured in the first game, and then he suffered the shoulder separation in game 2, and he'll be out about 6 weeks or so. So the Cowboys will start from the Cardinal 34-yard line. They're trying to take advantage of another Phoenix turnover. They didn't the last time. And the handoff off the left side is Emmitt Smith. And a good gain for Smith. And he's very close to another first down and should be over the 100 mark with that run.
And that was pure and simple, just bodies on the left side there. You had Tuanay and Newton working over there with Novacek in at tight end, and they just got their bodies on the Cardinal bodies and then enabled Smith to get that corner.
So Emmitt Smith now has gone over the 100-yard mark in 6 of the last 8 games for the Cowboys. He has 104 yards, and it'll be a second down and less than a yard. Aikman to throw on 2nd and 1. The pass is caught by Michael Irvin. Still fighting to stay on his feet and down inside the 10-yard line. Another Dallas first down. 18 yards that time with Lynch and Zordich defending.
You don't always think of a wide receiver as being a strength player, but when you got a guy like a Michael Irvin, you have got to bring him down. And Lorenzo Lynch working against him at quarterback, number 29, he's thinking, where is the cavalry right now? I'm going to hold on. I got him. But come on, guys. More than 2. Takes 3. That's a wide receiver, but it still took 3 to bring down Michael Irvin.
6 catches for 194 yards for Michael Irvin, and we still have 8:36 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Not a bad average for a little over a half.
First and goal at the 7-yard line, and
Jim Waller jumped off sides again at nose guard.
Before the ball was snapped, encroachment number 66 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
You saw Eric Hill grab Jim Waller by the face mask.
Turn of events here in the second half, where the Cardinals were driving, trailing 21-10, and they fumbled near midfield. Dallas came in, and a field goal attempt was blocked, and then the Cowboys then recovered another fumble in Cardinal territory, and they're threatening to go up here by 18 points. Emmitt Smith can't bounce off any defenders there, and he is stopped short on first down play by Jim Waller. So it'll be second and goal.
Turnovers are so critical to a team, especially an underdog team, especially a team that stands around. You got to remember, I was on a real losing team, San Francisco, when I was first there. When you're in this mindset, as the Cardinals are right now, I believe, they're almost sitting around waiting for something bad to happen, knowing something bad is going to happen. Well, so far in this third quarter, they've seen that something bad happen twice. Luckily for them, Dallas couldn't convert the first time.
Second and goal on the 4-yard line for the Cowboys. And Aikman with a pass to Michael Irvin. He's in for his third touchdown.
Michael Irvin in motion to the right of the screen. Not real complicated. Goes in motion, then runs a slant right behind the pick by Alfredo Roberts, number 87.
So it's a banner day for Michael Irvin, who matches his career record of 3 touchdown receptions and his all-time leading yardage game. He's on 200 yards. Lynn Elliott's extra point is good. And the Cowboys lead the Cardinals 28-10. Aikman and Irvin. That's been the combination today. (28-10) Dallas, and Michael Irvin on the receiving end of 3 Troy Aikman touchdown passes. Has good reason to smile. He was a moment ago. Must be tired of smiling.
Well, it's the 200 yards you can mention now. Their all-time record is 336 by Flipper Anderson against New Orleans. If the Cowboys keep pouring it on, he could get it.
Lynn Elliott kicking off. Johnny Bailey to return a yard in the end zone. Cowboys trying to go after the ball, but Bailey protecting it is tackled by Darren Woodson after a return of 23 yards. So we have 7:18 remaining in the third quarter. Chandler will go back to work when we come back.
A great illustration of what a pick is. Watch Alfredo Roberts against McDonald, the safety. Doesn't even try to hide him. Watch him come underneath Novacek, the other tight end, 84. Now watch him just block the safety. Look at him just burying that shoulder into McDonald underneath. Beating Aeneas Williams is Michael Irvin for 6 again, number 3.
First down on the 23 for the Cardinals. Johnny Bailey is the running back, but Chandler's got a pass, and he completes it to Ricky Prohl. Out of bounds. Prohl, the sure-handers you'll find, picks up 17 yards with Kenneth Gant knocking him out of bounds.
Well, Phoenix has to know after watching that New York Giants game last week, this is not a gigantic lead of 18 points. This is not the time to start throwing the ball into stupid places in the defense and taking bad chances. Joe Bugle's offense needs to move down the field, stay patient, but very importantly, they must have 6.
First down on the 41-yard line. He's got plenty of time in this quarter, just under 7 minutes. Chandler's pass is caught by Ernie Jones. Ernie Jones with a great move. The whistle had blown. There is no fumble on the play. Gant making the tackle after a gain of 33 yards. Ernie Jones burned the Cowboys a couple of years ago with 2 big touchdown passes, and he makes a big play here.
Well, we talked about the Cardinals kind of standing around expecting something bad to happen. Well, here's an example where it looks like the Dallas defense is standing around waiting for somebody else to make a play. And Gant, luckily for this defense, is the one that comes in and makes the play. Because if not for that tackle, we're talking 6 points Phoenix.
First down. Ball on the 27-yard line, and the handoff is to Johnny Bailey, showing some speed, and Bailey close to another first down, and he may have it for the Cardinals.
Talk about a changeup. You got a 265-pound back in Ivory Lee Brown, who's plodding in power, and all of a sudden you get a little guy who wants to give you that kind of jiggly water bug look.
Horton and Washington made the tackle for the Cowboys, and they check the measurement to see whether the Cardinals have a first down, and they will measure. 5:42 to go in the third quarter, and once again the Dallas Cowboys pass defense has been porous, allowing the Cardinals to move the ball up the field.
You know, more than just being porous, they just seem extremely passive. It's not an attacking defense right now. Right now the Phoenix Cardinals are taking their offense to the defense. There is very little attack in this Dallas defense.
And that's what the Giants were able to do, and they came back in the second half to fall short by 6. It is a Cardinal first down on the 16-yard line, so even though it's 28-10, Jimmy Johnson's a bit anxious on the sideline. Dallas has averaged over 9 yards per play, and Phoenix nearly 7. That's pretty good for both sides. But Chandler sure recovered from that last hit, didn't he?
Well, that last graphic tells you there were a lot of 1s and 2s and 50s and 60s in that mix.
Crowd getting in the action here. Chandler being chased by Casillas. 3 penalty markers down, and we may have a holding call. And normally that's the indication. No gain on the play.
Looked like somebody up there on the offensive line had a little too good a grasp of their technique on that play.
There were 2 penalties against the Cardinals. They'll take the holding penalty, Cowboys, for sure. Chandler looks to the sky.
Illegal motion, number 67 of the offense. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 67 of the offense. That penalty is 10 yards, still first down.
Louis Sharp.
A daily double from another former Bruin. Louis Sharp right here. Watch, first he moves, and then he holds. Moved a little bit. Haley gets by him. A little drag down on the back. That wasn't a full-fledged WWF kind of a wrestle down move, but you know.
Who trained you guys to hold so much?
It's not holding unless they call it, Dick.
First and 20 at the 26-yard line. Passing offense for Chris Chandler. Wants to get some of it back, and nearly intercepted by Gant, and he would have been off. The pass was intended for Ricky Prohl, and Gant very nearly had a pickoff and a score.
And that was an example of a defensive back guessing. And I get the feeling right here that Phoenix is trying to make something happen. And when you try to make something happen, you force the ball into that kind of a place. There was no one between Gant and the goal line.
That is the first incompletion by Chandler on this drive. He is 5 for 6 for 92 yards. Second down and 20. And the quick handoff to Larry Centers, and he gets about a yard. So now they need about 18 with under 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
It's kind of that second and long run out the clock, kind of shot up the middle thing going there for Phoenix. They got down here in the red zone today so far. We've seen some what seems to be uninspired kind of haphazard play calling down here in the red zone.
They seem to unleash it pretty well until they get to about the 25 or 20-yard line.
They also seem to make a mistake down here, and they let that mistake affect them. They got to fight through those mistakes.
Third down and 18. Out of the shotgun. Chandler lost the pass. Jones can't hold on to it. He went up for it, appeared to have it, and then lost it on the way down. So it'll go as an incompleted pass. And fourth down coming up, and Greg Davis will come in to try a field goal for the Cardinals.
And a play like that is an illustration between a team like a Cowboys and a Redskins and a Bears. Those guys make those catches. When you're struggling and having a hard time, and this isn't a knock on Ernie Jones, but it's all a matter of an attitude thing. When you're going to make that, you think you're a winner, you act like a winner, you make those plays.
Jones normally makes those plays, but Greg Davis will try a 42-yard field goal. Chandler holding. He's already made one today, and this one is long enough, and this kick is good. So Greg Davis is 2 for 2 on the afternoon, and the Phoenix Cardinals get 3 back. And with 4:09 remaining in the third, it's 28-13 Dallas. Dick Stockton and Randy Cross back at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. The Cowboys lead cut to 28-13 with that much time remaining in the third quarter. Keep in mind that the Cardinals have now lost 8 in a row against NFC Eastern Division teams. That's not the kind of record you want to have in your own division. And trailing here, that could be 9 straight.
And there's a team that might take a little bit of an advantage and also might have a little lightening up of their schedule if they were to realign in the NFL. To get out of that East, put Atlanta in the East, and let Phoenix start playing in the West. The West isn't exactly a picnic, but it's a lot less of a power crunch type of a division than the NFC West is.
I'm sure Atlanta will go for that idea in a big way. Davis will kick off. And back deep, Kirvin Richards and Kenneth Gant. Sails into the end zone and will be down there for a touchback by Gant, and the Cowboys will begin from the 20-yard line. Well, next Saturday on CBS Sports, 2:30 Eastern Time, the pregame show, and then you'll see either the Mets and the Pirates or the Cubs and the Expos. The Pirates won today in extra innings. They had a 5-game lead over the Montreal Expos in the National League East coming into today's action. Pirates won in 13 innings, 3-2 over the Phillies. And the Mets beat Montreal, so it's now a 6-game lead for the Pirates. And they may be too hard to catch at this point. Cowboys with a first down on the 20. Kirvin Richards is the running back, and he gets the call, gets tripped up. Otherwise, he would have had a lot more. Gets 6 as it is, with Eric Hill making the tackle.
This is a situation where the Dallas offense has to show a little moxie, has to show a little killer instinct, and really put things together here. You got a real kind of laissez-faire, relaxed attitude, kind of bored with it all, getting the impression from the Dallas team. They've got to get themselves fired up.
3.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Troy Aikman with 3 touchdown passes today, including his career individual big pass play, 87 yards for a score. Second down and 4. Richards trying the right side, and he doesn't get much. It was Jeff Faulkner who tripped him up that time, and that'll bring up third down. And an injured Cardinal on the field momentarily is Freddie Joe Nunn.
And Mark Stepnoski, who started his first game of 92 today at center, is down.
Stepnoski was a holdout signed 2 days before the season opener against the Washington Redskins. Frank Cornish, who had been the Plan B pickup from San Diego, had played center the last 2 weeks, and now Stepnoski, so important to the Cowboy offensive line, is injured.
He is. A lot of it's got to do with an offensive line as a center, is calling your signals, and there is a player who will be sorely missed if he does not come back for the Cowboys.
Way in the back there is Mark Stepnoski, who is shaken up, and they're working on him on the bench, and Frank Cornish replaces him at center.
It would appear that it was basically a communication problem. Communication problem being between his brain and the rest of his body, because he got kicked in the back of the head and kind of went away for a while.
You didn't know what kicked him, but something did. Third down and 3 on the 27-yard line. Harper goes in motion. Aikman fires, and it's Michael Irvin who bobbled it and caught it and has a Dallas first down. Steve Lofton, a nickelback, making the tackle and a pickup of 10 yards. What a day for Michael Irvin. This is his career high yardage. He's well over 200 yards.
When things go right and you're getting the bounces, boy, do you get the bounces. Look at this. Whoop. Well, he also has the luxury of the fact that there's nobody within 5 or 7 yards from him. And look at Troy Aikman standing in, waiting for his receiver to come all the way across. Ooh, that's kind of borderline by Swan. That ball was well away.
And the give is to Kervin Richards, and bursts forward on first down and picks up 6 yards on the play.
Well, we've been informed that Emmitt Smith has been removed from the game on a coach's decision, and more than likely it's that coach's decision he's joking with on the sideline, Jimmy Johnson.
Not only did he get over 100 yards, but he has bigger goals ahead, doesn't he?
Oh, he wants to get 2,000 yards rushing. He wants to get a new contract. In fact, he was kidding with Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin says, you're going to be, all my kids, you're going to be their godfather, because I want my kids to have rich godparents.
And he will be rich. Richards carrying and shy of a first down by a couple of yards. He picked up 3. As we wind down to 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. So Emmitt Smith over 100 yards for the 6th time in his last 8 games. And he scored a touchdown today. So the Phoenix Cardinals will always remember him. 4 games, 10 touchdowns against this team.
And this is Kervin Richards' first real action in over a month. Had a lacerated kidney. Was sort of the emergency back for a few weeks, but now is rounding into form and be a legitimate backup to Smith.
3rd down and 1 at the 46. Aikman's pass, Novacek, and that is his first catch of the day. Cowboys were saying that he was the slowest of the holdouts to round into shape, and that is the first reception by Jay Novacek today, the top receiver amongst tight ends last year and the year before. Jock Jones on the tackle.
When you talk about the importance of communication and timing between a receiver and quarterbacks, what a great example there. A little out pattern, but that's got to be thrown just perfectly by the quarterback, and the route run just perfectly by the tight end.
They won't get another playoff before the gun. And that is the end of the third quarter with the score, the Cowboys 28 and the Cardinals 13. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back at Texas Stadium along with Randy Cross, this is Dick Stockton, and the Cowboys have a first down on the Cardinal 47 as we start the fourth quarter, leading 28-13. Swing pass out to Kervin Richards. And Richards out of bounds after a gain of about 5 yards. Tyrone Stowe was the first to reach him, and Freddie Joe Nunn.
At this point, it looks like Troy Aikman in this offense is trying to get the work to the people that haven't been around. Getting the ball a lot to Michael Irvin, getting the ball out to Jay Novacek, getting the ball to Kervin Richards.
Washington still in a close game with Detroit in the fourth quarter. Miami over the Rams, who have come back. Pittsburgh trying to make it 3 in a row under Bill Cowher, and the Raiders have come back against the Browns. 2nd down and 6 on the 43 of the Cardinals. Aikman has completed his last 5 passes. Tommy Agee is the up back with Kervin Richards. The setback. It's Richards on the call, and he is going to be thrown way back by Tyrone Stowe. Tyrone Stowe and a loss of 2.
This is a play that this Phoenix defense just stuffs. Watch this, trying to be a draw. Swan doesn't bite. He's closing it from the backside on Giesick. He's the one that makes the play, and Stowe comes in to clean up the scraps. It was a great job by Eric Swan, the big guy, number 98, just stuffing that play on Giesick and forcing Kervin Richards to go around.
There's Swan, number 1 draft pick, taken as a gamble last year.
Well, he's only down about 35, 40 pounds, too. He's down around 295, 300 pounds. Knew last year he played way too heavy.
3rd down and 8 for Dallas. Aikman being chased, trying to run for the sticks, and let's see if he made it.
Oh, what a play by Michael Irvin. Why did Massey let him just shield him off and not drive through him? That's amazing.
And an 8-yard gain. Let's see if it's enough for the first down.
Guy's got over 200 yards, 210 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns. Then what do? You get a little blue-collar work in, and you enable your quarterback to get a first down. Look at that blocking. He is not going to let Massey get away. He's holding the heck out of him. That's why he won't get away.
Well, whatever it is, Michael Irvin is playing this game so-called away from the ball, not as a receiver, as if the score were tied. They're going to measure to see whether that maneuver was sufficient enough to give Dallas the ball for another series. Emmitt Smith is signaling that it is a first down. He beat the referee to it. He can referee too.
Well, he's got plenty of time now that he's been taken out of the game, getting Curvin Richards some playing time. You know, psychologically, something like that is really got to tick the Phoenix Cardinal team off a little bit. You look up there and their second-string halfbacks in. Their starter has got over 100 yards rushing against you, and they take him out of the game to rest and give the backup a little work. That is a little blow to your pride there.
Sure is. 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line. 10th play of the drive coming up for the Cowboys. And Aikman on a fade pattern. And the pass is intercepted. Incomplete, they say. It was intended for Michael Irvin and Robert Massey. Knocked it away. Aikman was going for number 4 to his favorite wide receiver.
Well, it was a good job by Massey working against Irvin. But you know what I want to point out? You want to talk about some indecision. Watch the official right there where this happens. Okay? Is this a catch? Ooh, I don't know. There the ball's on the ground.
He trapped it.
But it's funny. The guy that was right there didn't say anything. And there's Aikman. See, you can tell he's not really basically a defensive kind of guy because he wasn't exactly getting ready to break down and go cover and make a tackle right there.
Aikman is 12 for 18, 242 yards and 3 touchdown passes. 2nd down and 10 on the 37-yard line. Curvin Richards is hit hard from behind, but gets 4 yards that play. And it was Ken Harvey. We haven't mentioned his name much today.
There's a lot of places where things have been opening up, but in the middle of that defense now in the second half is not one of those places. Swan, Waller, Stowe, Hill, they're doing a fine job of plugging up the middle of that line.
Curvin Richards, the ball carrier, was shaken up on the play. Bring you up to date on the scores. Vinny Testaverde suffered an injury today. So did Rich Gannon of the Vikings. Richards was on injured reserve last year after being a 4th-round draft pick out of the University of Pittsburgh. And right now, for an update, let's check in with Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Dick, at Washington, Rodney Peete of the Detroit Lions watched the pump fake, and that frees Willie Green down the sideline 67 yards. That penalty marker was against Washington, and it was refused. The Lions, who have never won at RFK, are within a field goal. 13-10 Redskins, 4th quarter, Dick.
All right, Greg, and last week the Falcons, we were there, had never won at RFK and very nearly pulled it off against the Redskins. There might be a problem with the Washington club thus far.
That's true. Well, the Washington club is not quite there. We mentioned it last week, and they're just a team that's a little bit off. Detroit is a fine football team. We saw them in the opener get nipped at the buzzer by the Chicago Bears with 1 second to go. Waddle catches a touchdown. You know, what is it this year, Dick? It seems like the defensive backs are just chomping on pump action fakes. How many times have you seen in all these games in the last 3 weeks, guys doing that pump, the guy bites, we had it in our game, and Aeneas Williams bit early Michael Irvin's touchdown.
A lot of over-aggressiveness. Emmitt Smith is back in the lineup and running back for the Cowboys. And the pass, they rule it is a catch by Novacek, and it should be enough for a Dallas first down. Michael Zordich was defending on the play, but let's see where they spot the ball. Emmitt Smith says first down. He's been a good referee so far. He has signaled first down twice today. You know, interesting about the Washington Redskins game, because they know that the Eagles won big and that the Cowboys are winning here. The Redskins can ill afford to go 1-2 and see the Cowboys and the Eagles 3-0 in a very tight NFC East race this year.
You know, they still have 2 more with Philadelphia. Got another one with Dallas. You got to expect that game when these 2 teams, Dallas and the Redskins, meet. It's going to be a tough one back there in RFK. See Michael Irvin. See, he's getting into the act now. Irvin's going to do a little refereeing. Saw his guy Smith working on the sideline. Emmett was doing his deal, so Michael's going to get in on the act.
12th play of the drive coming up with just about 12 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Dallas has held the ball for more than 6.5 minutes. They have a first down on the Cardinal 27.
It's a plodding, methodical drive.
And the give is to Emmitt Smith, who has over 100 yards already. He goes up the middle with Eric Hill dragging behind, and a gain of 4 yards.
Emmitt Smith back in now. And the Dallas offense has just been running and dinking this whole drive so far. We have not seen, outside of that one play, going over the top on the fade to Michael Irvin.
Emmitt Smith has gained 107 yards on 21 carries. And a touchdown, his 10th against this club. Cowboys have a 2nd and 5 on the 22. And on the reverse, Michael Irvin bobbled the ball, and he is being chased and thrown for a loss in the backfield by Robert Massey. So that was a little razzle-dazzle that backfired for the Cowboys, and a loss of 10 yards.
Well, the Cowboys do a good job on the first exchange. That's between the quarterback and the running back. But this is the second exchange right here that did not work quite as well between Smith and Irvin. And you can't, in this league, give up that kind of time. Defenses are too fast and pursue too well.
As a result, it'll be 3rd down and 14, 3rd and long from the 31-yard line. Cowboys lead 28-13 with plenty of time remaining in the fourth quarter. Kelvin Martin, the 3rd wideout for Dallas. And Aikman's pass up the middle, and that's Novacek, and it's a first down. Now they're getting their great receiving tight end in action. He has a 15-yard gain. Braxton covered.
Well, we're seeing a good offense that's working on all cylinders. They're making things happen. And we're seeing a defense that I think, frankly, right now is just getting a little bit worn out and is not holding up to this kind of pressure that this Dallas offense is putting on them. This Dallas offense has turned into the NFC prototype type offense like the Redskins have always been. They're able to put incredible pressure on a defense, and Fritz Shermer's defense right now would appear just to be wearing down.
That's where your offense has to have a little ball control and use up a lot of clock. Cardinals haven't done it today. Here's Emmitt Smith on first down. He goes right between a couple of defenders who collide and picks up 3 yards. Tackle that time made by Michael Bankston.
Harvey and Zordich had Smith cornered. Emmitt came right up between them. They both went to tackle him, and all they saw was each other's face masks smacked together. Watch this. Emmett's going to get this ball. Look at Harvey, 56. He's got him on one side. Zordich has him on the other. Bap. All they hit is each other. Neither one of them hit Emmitt.
That's like in a bad football movie where 2 defenders bang into each other.
Zordich is kind of looking, you got the hands out like, I don't know. Harvey turns around, looks like goes, Mike. He goes, hey, don't look at me.
But this is not a movie. This is the real thing. 2nd down and 7. Emmitt Smith gets tripped up, and maybe a yard is all. Using up the clock, Tyrone Stowe made the tackle on Emmitt Smith. And 8 minutes and 40 seconds remain in this fourth quarter. All the good teams will take the big early lead. Your club that did it, the 49ers. Redskins did it last year, and then chew up the clock with ball control in the latter stage.
Well, when you have a team that physically and realistically is still involved in the ball game, you get the ball and you just methodically and not really stylistically, but very boringly, pound the ball down the field and take the play and take the fight out of them. If time of possession is oxygen, right now, Dallas is strangling Phoenix.
Cowboys converted their last 5 third-down plays and a penalty marker down. Alvin Harper was the intended receiver with Lofton covering. But a penalty. And it'll be offensive pass interference against Dallas.
We saw earlier where Alfredo Roberts ran a little pick on McDonald.
Pass interference, number 84. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Novacek interfered, and it's 4th down.
And that invariably is when you get crossing patterns and things happening shallow in the defensive backfield like that, is where a tight end just frankly ends up running over or into a linebacker. The official sees it and calls pass interference.
Lynn Elliott had a 34-yard attempt blocked in the third quarter. This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt with Steve Berline, the holder. And Elliott's kick this time is good. With just under 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, the Dallas Cowboys have extended their lead to 31-13. In our game summary, what jumps out at you, Michael Irvin, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, 417 yards total offense by the Cowboys today. And they're leading 31-13 and heading for their third straight win of the year. And Emmitt Smith has had a big role as well. He is standing behind Tony Tolbert.
To me, the biggest difference in the second half, Dick, has been those 2 Phoenix turnovers. Dallas has not turned over the ball. Dallas has not been particularly inspired offensively. They've just been methodical and done really what they had to do and nothing more.
Lynn Elliott, who won the job in the final preseason game, rookie from Texas Tech, a free agent, will kick off for the Cowboys. Johnny Bailey is back there with Anthony Edwards. Bailey, number 20.
And remember, these 2 teams have next week off. The NFC East is on a bye next week.
Jimmy Johnson said, next week you have off. Make sure you don't take this Sunday off. High end over end kick, and Bailey will return it starting from the 1-yard line. Gant missed him. And Gant ended up with the tackle, as a matter of fact, with help from Kevin Smith, number 1 draft pick. So Chris Chandler will come out again and will be back as well.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, builders of fine automobiles since 1886. The people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. And by Miller Reserve. Taste what barley does for beer.
Cowboys 31, the Cardinals 13. The Cardinals have won only 5 of the last 25 games played here in Dallas, and they've got a long way to come with very little time to go considering their margin.
You know, Dick, we talked about that bye week next week here in the fourth week of the season coming up, and that was really the genesis of all this talk about Joe Bugle's job being in jeopardy, because that's sort of the catchphrase now. If you have a coach in trouble and he has a bye week coming up, people say, well, this is the time to do it. This is not the time to do it with Joe Bugle. You got to give this guy more of a chance, in my opinion. This is not a very strong organization, and they do not have that good a talent.
That's a great point. I second that one. First down on the 19-yard line. Chandler dumps it off to Bailey. And Bailey, with a good nifty bit of running after the catch, better than a good bit of running, is pushed out of bounds at the 42-yard line by Larry Brown, and a gain of 23 yards.
Robert Massey, the cornerback, a little difference of opinion there.
You know, I agree with you. Next week, of course, the NFC East is off, but then look at these teams. Redskins, Giants on the road, never easy. New Orleans at home and at Philadelphia. And I'm not even talking about San Francisco the week after. So the Phoenix Cardinals really have their work cut out. And, you know, it's an organizational thing, and this has been an organization that has struggled for many years in 3 different cities. First and 10 at the 42-yard line. So it's not just one man's fault. Pass from Chandler is complete to Larry Centers, and the running back has another first down for the Cardinals in the Cowboy territory, with Kenneth Gant making the stop.
If you're thinking 3 scores real quick, the first one has got to be a quick one. It's got to be a lightning hit. You got to look to a Randall Hill or an Ernie Jones to get you on the board real quick if you're Phoenix right here.
First down on the Cowboy 46-yard line. Chandler has time, and the pass is caught by Ernie Jones. And another big gain inside the 30. 17 more yards for the Cardinals, who are practically running a 2-minute offense at this point.
Well, they're in their 6-minute and 40-second offense right now, Dick. They need 3 scores, and they can't waste any more seconds than they have to offensively. Washington and Horton made the stop on the last play for Dallas. Under 6.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. First down on the 29. Chandler flips it to Bailey.
And Bailey inside the 20-yard line will have another first down for the Cardinals. It was Godfrey Miles making the stop for Dallas as the Cowboys use a lot of their reserves defensively, but a pickup of 12.
And the thinking behind that for the Phoenix Cardinals is they know they just watched the Dallas Cowboys run 11 minutes and 11 seconds off of the clock in that last drive. They have the urgency because they know they must score now and hope the defense can stop them 3 and out.
On the 17-yard line, first down, and the pass is almost intercepted and should have been. Kevin Smith, the number 17 pick out of Texas A&M, had it in his hand.
Well, the rookie from A&M gets a face full of Wilson. He's thinking right now, I got family at the game. I've got family watching on TV. I've got it. I had it. Right in the face, down through his arms, between his legs, and down.
Ernie Jones was the intended receiver. So that'll bring up second down from the 17.
Smith is a good example of that real talent-rich backup positions they have here in Dallas.
Chandler dumps it off to Larry Centers. Centers on the run to the 5-yard line and inside the 5 for another Cardinal first down. Clock is running, 5:35 to go. That gain was good for 14 yards. Making the tackle was James Washington. Keep in mind that the Cowboys acquired safety Thomas Everett from the Pittsburgh Steelers for a number 5 draft pick next year.
And here's his play again, just a little flip. Center sees the blitz, sees the pressure, turns around, gets the ball. Phoenix has brought in all 4 of their tight ends here.
First and goal on the 3-yard line. And the give is to Ivory Lee Brown, still on his feet. And Brown fights his way to the 1-yard line. Well, he'd rather run around than run through. Robert Jones brought him down finally.
Well, we mentioned the 4 tight ends are in. And for Phoenix, it's Walter Reeves, number 89, Willie Wright, number 80. You got Butch Roll, number 82, and Derek Ware, number 85. Roll's caught a couple passes, but none of those tight ends is what you would consider a threat of being a pass receiver. Dallas is thinking run the whole way when they see those guys in the game.
Mark May was shaken up. He, of course, a Plan B pickup from San Diego, and of course well known by Joe Bugel, who coached him as one of the Hogs in Washington, and moved from this game from right tackle to left guard, and he is shaken up on the play.
We'll take another look. May's lined up at left guard. Doesn't seem to be anything there, but look, good lateral pursuit by the Dallas defense. Somebody's got to tell Ivory Lee, man, you're 6'2", you're 265. You are not well served running parallel to the line of scrimmage. Use that girth. Run through guys. Run over guys.
Girth of a nation. Ivory Lee Brown.
Girth of a running back if he could figure it out.
4 minutes and 50 seconds remain in the 4th quarter. Second and goal from the 1-yard line. They go to Ivory Lee Brown, and he'll score a touchdown. Ivory Lee Brown with his first NFL touchdown from 1 yard out with nearly 5 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. And it is now 28-19.
Now, does he get his shoulders ever turned away from the end zone? No way. And you think Ken Norton wants to step up there and put his face right in the middle of those legs? Another no way. One more time. Shortest distance between 2 points for a running back is straight ahead.
31-19 is the score, and Greg Davis will try to bring the Cardinals again to within 11 points, and he does. So it's 31-20 with 4:47 remaining. Next Saturday, baseball on CBS Sports. The Mets at the Pirates. Some of you will see the Cubs at Expos. Pirates lead the Expos by 6 games. And on Sunday, NFL action begins with the NFL Today at 12:30. Some of you will see Atlanta at Chicago or the Minnesota Vikings against the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Cardinals, about a far in a hurry. 81 yards in just 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Cowboys are playing for an onside kick attempt, and here it is.
It's got to be an onside. It's loose.
And the Cardinals may have it. We'll wait for the official call. We have not gotten the official call yet.
Looks like Dexter Davis, 21, has got that ball.
Cardinals do have it. The Cardinals, trailing 31-20, have recovered an onside kick with 4:43 remaining.
Well, they're up in the onside kick formation. The Cowboys are. Isn't this a surprise? They're going to try an onside. Can they catch it? Brown can't. Novacek couldn't get it, and Derek Davis falls right on it.
So here comes Chris Chandler back on for the Cardinals, who this half has completed 10 of 13 passes for 171 yards. So with Rosenbaugh out, no one can blame what Chandler has done replacing him.
Good job by Chandler. Good job by that line pass blocking, because these Cowboys want to come after the quarterback.
Out of the shotgun, first down at midfield for Phoenix. Wide open is Larry Centers out of the backfield, and Centers picks up 6 yards. Tackle made by Kenneth Gant and Bill Bates.
Maybe Phoenix is onto something here, Dick. Maybe they need to run their entire offense in the Cincinnati Bengal kind of no-huddle Sam White-looking offense, because they've run it very effectively here in the fourth quarter.
And the Cardinals, as the Cowboys, have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Second down and 4. Chandler's pass is caught by Ricky Prohl, who stops the clock and goes out of bounds. It'll be a Cardinal first down at the 35-yard line.
Got Randall Hill and James Washington going at each other in the backfield. Looks like they want to start a little fight.
Keep in mind, the Cowboys were in front 34-0 last week against the Giants and held on to win 34-28. They were up 31-13. The Cardinals have only scored 1 touchdown since that point, but they're threatening again with 4:09 remaining.
We're again seeing a Dallas defense that seems to be standing around waiting for somebody else to make something happen.
Phoenix has been successful passing. There's the first down play, and it's incomplete. Gant was covering Ricky Prohl all the way. 4:05 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Cardinals need 2 touchdowns. They are trailing 31-20, so a touchdown and a field goal would leave them 1 point short. So with very little time, they need a lot of points, and each team has all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
Well, the sense of urgency for Joe Bugel and the Cardinals naturally is getting 2 scores. It is also knowing that if they give Dallas back the ball, they will not get it back.
Second and 10 on the 35-yard line. Dump pass over to Johnny Bailey, and Bailey on the move inside the 20-yard line, and Bailey puts the Cardinals in prime position with a gain of 19 yards, and Phoenix calls a timeout. We'll check the timeout situation for the Cardinals.
But a nice play. You got Charles Haley and company up front coming after Chandler, and he flips this thing down there to Bailey. Little block in front by Cunningham, the rookie center, filling in for Danny Villa. Horton manages to just trip him up with a little help from Washington, or it's 6 points for the Cardinals.
Cardinals have 1 timeout left. They have 1 remaining with 3:55 to go in the fourth quarter. And the Cardinals need 2 touchdowns, so they have to strike and get a score here and then recover an onside kick, because with 1 timeout left, they would need more than 1 defensively to get the ball back that way.
See, the problem Dallas has had in the last 2 weeks, they've gotten out to these leads, and their defense immediately, though probably not through plan, starts to play very passively. And this is a defense that I've said it twice already, but seems to be standing around, looking at each other going, well, Charles, you sack him. No, James, you get an interception. It can't work like that.
First down on the 16. And the pass, and a wrong cut was made by Randall Hill. Kevin Smith was covering on the play for Dallas.
Well, that was a pass intended to go right at the cone in the back of the end zone. Whether or not Hill could get there, Chandler was putting that ball up there because he knew only his receiver could get it if he made it there.
There's the story. 3:49 remaining. Phoenix has one timeout left, trailing by 11 points, 31-20. Second down and 10 on the Dallas 16.
How often do you see in the red zone over the middle when you're throwing, things open up on slants?
Chandler in trouble, and he throws it out of the end zone. And a smart move by Chris Chandler, who is about ready to be sacked by Leon Lett.
Leon Lett did a good job of getting in there because Chandler had that pass completion to Ricky Proehl. You saw Chandler look over to the sideline and give that little, you know, that was this close. I was this close. If he can throw now at 6. Leon Lett did a nice job getting in there and throwing the ball, getting Chandler to throw that ball away.
So now it is third down.
2 plays to get a first down or a score here.
Ernie Jones goes in motion. And Chandler going to run for it and gets stopped inside the 10-yard line. He's short of a first down by just a couple. Bates makes the stop, and now Chandler will use his last timeout. Fourth down is coming up, and the Cardinals will go for it, obviously, trailing by 11, but they are out of timeouts.
And actually, I think Chandler and the Cardinals got a real break on the spotting of that ball, because at the very end of that play, Chandler seemed to be going into that kind of fetal crawl position that the quarterbacks go into when they're going down. Watch here at the end of the play. Chandler, as he has so many times today, evading the rush, making something happen. Watch him start to go down at the ground. He's ducking. He's not running. I think they got a heck of a spot there on that ball. Ball should be back by around the 10-yard line.
The Cardinals have gone for it on fourth down twice today and have been successful on both occasions, but this is the one that they really need. Fourth down and 2 on the 8-yard line. As I'll tell you what, the Cardinals, even without Tim Rosenbaugh, do not have a quarterback problem, that's for sure.
No, and if you're Dallas, you're looking at the personnel in the game right now. You got Larry Centers in at running back. You have receivers in, and there is no 265-pound power running Ivory Lee Brown. So you're thinking pass the entire way here.
Randall Hill on the right, Ernie Jones and Ricky Proehl to the left. Fourth down and 2. Chandler in trouble, and he's sacked. And the Cowboys make the defensive play to take over on downs. It was Tony Tolbert, and that is the first sack of the game for either side.
Gosh, what a surprise. They're going to throw the ball here. They might as well have gotten back in the shotgun for as much of a concealment this was. You knew it was going to be a pass. They're bringing the blitz. Gantz coming in out of the slot from the right, and now it's Haley making him step up, and Tolbert getting the scraps and taking down Chandler. Good job by the Dallas defensive line, putting a pass rush on when they knew it was a pass and knew they had to have it.
So the Dallas Cowboys defense clamps down. Keep in mind the Cardinals needed 2 touchdowns, but they come up empty, and the Cowboys take over on downs with 3:22 to play, and the Phoenix Cardinals are out of timeouts. First down on the 14-yard line. And the handoff is to Emmitt Smith. Cardinals can't stop the clock, and while we have a moment, we want to thank some people. Our game today here at Texas Stadium, produced by Mark Wolf and directed by Bob Mattina. The NFL Today, produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. And the senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. And we also like to thank Marty Aronoff and Dave Corris for their work up here in the booth. Well, Joe Bugel now will have probably the longest week off that he's ever had.
It's going to be a tough, long 2 weeks right now for Bugel, but you know what? This game isn't over. If Dallas does not get a first down, Phoenix will get the ball back.
Second down and 11. Here's Emmitt Smith again protecting the ball, and Eric Hill hits him immediately.
The clock will stop here at the 2-minute warning, and Dallas will have one more play. So with about a minute or so, give or take a few seconds, Phoenix and Chandler will get another shot.
Well, the best of times could be, well, not quite right now, but in the coming future.
It's not too far off. And for the worst of times, that's the old story about there's a light at the end of the tunnel for the Phoenix Cardinals, but it's a train.
That's always a harrowing thought when you hear people say that, Randy. We're down to the 2-minute warning here. Dallas leading. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. If you think the abortion issue has turned angry, ugly, and violent, wait until you see what the environmental issue has turned into. Tonight on 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote and the CBS Sunday movie Terror on Track 9, starring Richard Crenna and Joan Van Ark. That's all tonight on CBS. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. 3rd down and 10 coming up for the Cowboys. And nothing fancy. Emmitt Smith is stopped short. And the Cardinals will get the ball again. Eric Swan making the tackle on Smith, who went over the 100-yard mark again today for the 6th time in 8 games.
And I know they need 2 touchdowns. They need 2 scores, but I love seeing an offense get the ball back in this situation because I like watching these wide open situations at the end of a game where they're going to be throwing it and chucking it, and it's fun to watch football. It's always a shame that offenses can't operate that wide open other times of the game.
Yeah, it seems to work whenever they do it at other times of the game. Mike Saxon will kick from the goal line, and Johnny Bailey is back deep for the Cardinals. That's Bailey, who's got good speed.
Dallas calls one of their timeouts just before they're going to be penalized.
So the Cowboys use their first. Jimmy Johnson's Cowboys have had good success when they have faced backup quarterbacks. Last year they won 6 out of 7. They lost to Jim McMahon when the Eagles came in here, then won 6 in a row. So they have not let the reserve quarterbacks beat them, and it could be 7-1 after this game.
Well, this could almost be qualified as a moral victory for Joe Bugel and the Phoenix Cardinals. They hung close against a team that was strong, that did look awful good on paper coming into this game. They kept it tight. They played hard. But what Joe Bugel and this team needs is not moral victories. They need a W. That's what they say about losing teams. They play well enough to lose. They lose the close ones. Here's Saxon to kick. Beautiful punt by Mike Saxon will send Johnny Bailey way back to his 26-yard line. And that was a big play for the Dallas Cowboys with Phoenix out of timeouts, as Bailey is stopped after a 58-yard kick by Vincent Smith inside his 40-yard line. 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter. And let's see what magic Chris Chandler still has in his right arm. Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins down the Rams 26-10. Got off to a quick 17-0 lead. That's after the Monday night win over Cleveland, so they had the short week. First down on the 39-yard line. This is that everybody go long stage of the game. Out of the shotgun is Chris Chandler. Penalty marker is down. Offsides on Charles Haley. And a pass nearly picked off after a deflection. It was Jim Jeffcoat who almost had the ball. Haley with a great rush in on Chandler. And that was a great rush because he started about a half a step before everybody else moved. He was offsides, I think. Penalty against the Dallas Cowboys.
Offside, number 94 on the defense, 5 yards, still first down.
Haley anxious to get in on Chandler. 55 seconds remain. So it'll be 1st and 5 on the 44-yard line. Randall Hill, I should say, out to the left. Pass over the middle to Centers. Larry Centers gets into Dallas territory and has enough for the first down. But the Cardinals out of timeouts. Clock continues to run after the gain of 9. Darren Woodson making the tackle. But some big days for the Dallas Cowboy offensive performers. Emmitt Smith with 112 yards today. Michael Irvin with 210 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chandler's pass is caught by Johnny Johnson over the middle, and he's got the first down of the 35 of Dallas. It was Bill Bates that time. Troy Aikman, 14 of 21, 263 yards and 3 scores. All of them to Michael Irvin. And this could be the last play. Chandler's pass is caught by Larry Centers, and that'll do it. So the Dallas Cowboys have won their 8th straight regular season game, the longest streak in the NFL, and the Cardinals have dropped their 11th in a row, also the longest in the league, as Dallas goes to 3-0 for the first time since 1983. Final score 31-20 Dallas. And so for Randy Cross, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Texas Stadium with a final score: the Dallas Cowboys 31, the Phoenix Cardinals 20. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. A big day for the Cowboy big offensive performers, Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. Dallas goes 3-0.
The Silver Star Network presents.
Straight drop, no rush, and they are big bending it to the end zone. This will be a prayer up in the air, and it might be caught. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown. Oh, Big Ben struck midnight. 34.
This is the Cowboys postgame show.
Welcome to the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. I'm Michael Ray, as always, just outside the Dallas Cowboys locker room as the Cowboys defeat the Cardinals 31-20. Folks worried all week long, would the Cowboys maintain their intensity after their tough week last week in New York? Yes, they did. Maybe a little flat towards the end. A win is a win is a win. The Cowboys go to 3-0. Michael Irvin over 200 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns today. Emmitt Smith over 100 yards rushing, adds in a touchdown. Again, 31-20. Cowboys go to 3-0. A couple of Cowboys dinged up. Mark Stepnoski took a knee to the head, and he was a little out of it. We'll check with Kevin O'Neill in just a little bit, and he'll give us the conditions on not only Stepnoski, but also Kervin Richards. Brad Sham is on his way right now from the Cowboy play-by-play booth. He'll be in that locker room in just a few moments and give Cowboy play-by-play, or actually Cowboy interviews with a bunch of the Cowboy players. We'll also hope to get Jerry Jones. He's with Thomas Everett, who the Cowboys will trade for officially in just a few moments to get from the Pittsburgh Steelers a free safety. You might remember him from Baylor if you're a Southwest Conference fan. Lots to come on the Cowboy postgame show. When we come back, we will go into the media room and cover Jimmy Johnson's press conference. All to come on the Cowboy postgame show right after this. Welcome back to the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. I'm joined by Jerry Jones, and you have a friend with you. Would you like to introduce him to our audience?
Well, Michael, I want to introduce him to a new Dallas Cowboy, Thomas Everett, and we're glad to have him on this team. And he signed just a minute ago. Had to wait until after the ball game, but we're glad to have him on the team. And we were just in the dressing room. They played their hearts out, didn't they, Thomas?
They sure did, and I'm happy to be a part of this winning atmosphere here.
Well, it's funny because when Charles Haley came on board, everybody talked about him maybe being the last piece in the puzzle, and now it looks like, Thomas, we have an extra piece, and that may well be you to send this team to the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to get to work and start getting back into that football shape, and it won't take long for me.
Now, what's great here is that, of course, he lives 2 blocks from Valley Ranch out there, and I know all of our fans are proud to have him here. He had a great career at Baylor, and he's going to do the same thing with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I mean, living in Bent Tree in that area, you obviously have kept up with the Cowboys. You said earlier in the week you didn't really have a yearning to come to the Cowboys, but you're more than happy to be here, no doubt.
Well, it really wasn't a yearning. It was just that the fact that I didn't expect the Cowboys to come after me. I mean, you know, I'm going to yearn to work anywhere, and so I'm yearning here, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Jerry Jones. We're going to go across the hall now. Jimmy Johnson about to do his media conference. Let's look in on it.
Well, we're happy to be 3-0. It seems like Phoenix always gives us a problem. Back when we first got here, when we thought we were going to win, they beat us, and in the last few years we've struggled. At times the score doesn't always look like we struggle, but they really match up well against us, and they really give us problems. And they deserve some credit. I thought their quarterback, I thought Chandler, hung in there and made some plays. We felt like we were rushing him pretty good, and we were hanging on him, but he was throwing completions, and they made plays against us. You know, just as you start feeling good about yourself or start feeling good about a phase, that's when you had little problems. And normally the kicking game is ours, and normally we're going to win the kicking game, and we're going to think that we're going to win the kicking game every time we go out. But the kicking game gave us some problems today with the kickoff returns, and once Kelvin, the sun was in his eyes and couldn't get the punt, and then we had a blocked field goal. And we're better than that in the kicking game. Now, part of it's due to their talent. Johnny Bailey's an outstanding returner, and I said all week long I was scared to death of Bailey. But happy with 3-0. Our guys came through, and we made some plays. I told Michael Irvin he had a big day. He had 3 touchdown receptions, had over a couple hundred yards, had a fumbled reverse, and he had a busted lip. He ran right by me when we scored there toward the end, and he knocked my headset right up in my mouth and busted my lip. It's a good thing he scored those 3 touchdowns. Any questions?
Were you having any flashbacks from last week?
Oh, no. In this league, as young as our football team is, I saw something the other day. We got the youngest team in the National Football League. As young as our team is, hey, every week's a new week. There's no telling what's going to happen. I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care if we're on the road or at home. Every week's a new week with this bunch.
What about some of the injuries?
I think we should be all right. Alexander Wright twisted his knee a little bit. Kervin Richards just got knocked in the head. Stepnoski got knocked in the head. But they all should be okay.
Talk a little bit more about the acquisition of Thomas Everett. What he'll mean.
Well, you know, we're happy, you know, to have Thomas Everett as part of the Cowboys. We, you know, we made inquiries about Thomas back during training camp, and really couldn't get anything finalized at that time, and we waited, and so talks picked up here a little bit this week, and so we're happy. I think. You know, I think he'll help our football team. We'll, you know, apply for a 2-week or 2-game exemption, which the bye week actually counts as one of those games, and so it's possible that we could have him exempt for the Pittsburgh game. You know, we'll make a decision at that time whether or not he'll be ready to play. We just have to watch him work in the next couple of weeks.
Talk a little about your defense today.
Well, our defense came up with a couple of big plays. I think Tony Tolbert. Not only getting a sack at the end of the game, but the sack earlier on and causing the fumble. I thought there was two very big plays. I thought we were able to hold up on the running game. You know, they had too many seams in their passing game. I thought they did a good job with their passing game.
Coach, are you concerned at all that your secondary gave up as many yards as it did?
No, I'd be concerned if I was 0-3 or 1-2. I'm not concerned. We're 3-0. I mean, a lot of the yards, you know, we had the lead at the end. We weren't going to blitz them. And, you know, we gave up yards last week with a big lead. But we were trying to eat up the clock there the last couple of series.
Sets up a big showdown, Coach.
I don't know who we play this week.
I think they got a bye next week. Talking about offensive weapons, over an 11-minute drive, that's quite unusual in the NFL.
Well, we made plays. We were able to run the football, and we were, picking up first downs. A couple of times we picked them up just by a few inches, and being able to execute offensively and protect the quarterback, we're able to do that. We made a couple of key receptions, and Novacek made a couple of key receptions. And, of course, Emmett running the football always gives you an opportunity to move the chains.
Did you hope to keep Emmett out, Jimmy, for the rest of the game?
No. In fact, I told Emmett when I put Kirvin in there, I said, hey, this is not for the game. I said, stay ready. I'm just going to give you a blow. And that's, we wanted to work Kirvin in just a few plays. I think we might have had him one play in the first half or a couple of plays in the first half, and we're going to give him a series there the second half. But, Emmett's still the guy that's going to be in there. In fact, during that series, Emmett's up, next to me and said, Coach, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I said, just let him finish the series. Everything's going to be fine. And he finished the series. He got knocked in the head, so Emmett went back in.
Coach, was it a specific plan to get Michael Irvin involved early? Because at one point he had 6 of the 8 completions from.
Oh, yeah, a lot of it just depends on their coverages. If their coverages roll up on one receiver, or if they single a certain receiver, he's going to be the guy we go to.
In the fourth quarter, were you even aware that Irvin was 36 yards away from the team all-time single-game record?
No, I read about records after the season's over with. I don't pay any attention to them during the season, and especially not during the game.
It's right on the division now. Do you expect it will get harder in a couple of weeks?
I think it's going to get real hard. I mean, we're going to be playing a great football team. We were extremely fortunate a year ago when we were up there. The Eagles have a great football team. Now they've got, Herschel Walker and Randall Cunningham, and their offense has improved from where they were a year ago. I think they got a great football team. It's going to be the ultimate challenge to go up there on Monday night against that bunch.
Well, that's Jimmy Johnson's post-game media conference. Jimmy obviously in a very good mood, even recounting the story of Michael Irvin popping him in the mouth and knocking his headset in there. Drew some blood there in the second quarter. Cowboys again win big today, or at least win 31-20. We'll be back with more Brad Sham inside the Cowboy locker room as Dallas Cowboys football continues in a moment.
Brad Sham back in the Cowboys locker room after the Cowboys pushed their record to 3-0 and beat the Phoenix Cardinals. Our star of the game today is Michael Irvin, who receives a $400 gift certificate from Village Jewelers and Diamond Cutters, the loose diamond specialist. I got to tell all the writers hanging on every second for a quote. I got to read the commercial plugs first, fellas. Sorry. Village Jewelers has 4 area stores and a fine selection of ring watches and more. And our star of the game also receives a $200 gift certificate from Rochester Big and Tall, the premier clothier for big and tall men. And all of today's guests on the Locker Room Show receive a hibachi steak dinner for 2 from Benihana, the Japanese steakhouse at Dallas at LBJ and Coit, a gift certificate from Larry's Shoes. No other man's shoe store can fill their shoes. And a new furniture store called The Room Store gives each of our guests a $100 gift certificate. The Room Store has 5 locations that offer the guaranteed lowest price, or it's free. Michael Irvin, 8 catches, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, the 5th best receiving day in Cowboys history. And so what, the rust is worn off now, and now the holdout's over?
Brad, I don't want to hear another word about rust. Last week, Norb kind of ran me in the ground last week, and right towards the end of last week, I dropped a little hitch, and Nate came to me. So, all right, Michael, don't be rusty. And I was like, Nate, I went in to Nate and said, I don't want to hear another word about rust. I just want to play football. It's time to put the holdout and everything and all that behind and just play football. I mean, it's time for me to focus in and start doing what I can do.
Well, you must feel seriously about that, because I saw you blocking a couple times, too.
It's funny, because you must know they were on me all week about blocking. Emmett's been eating me alive, and, I spent a lot of time with him, and it's get hard sometimes when every time you're around your best friend, he's like, hey, man, you better block, man. I need 200 yards and that type of thing. So, on that first touchdown, he was right down there blocking with me. That's what we tried to concentrate on, downfield blocking all week.
Well, and Novacek had a couple of key blocks too. But let's talk about that first one, the long one, because you had to make a couple of very tricky cuts and moves in there. When do you start reading what's in front of you, and when do you just start running?
Well, what you try to do, Brad, is you try to get into that zone where everything slows down in front of you, where you can see everything, and you can see it actually almost before it happens. I felt pretty good going into the game. I was joking with crazy Ray. You know, Ray said, "How you feel?" I said, "I feel like 200 yards today," and actually I did. Actually, I came up with it. So I told Coach Jackson I felt pretty good. You know, I'm almost to that point where I see the game slowing down in front of me again, and that's the point I want to be at.
Second one, beat double coverage. Quarterback helped you with the throw on the second one,
Helped me. He made the play. You know, offensive line, it's a long route, and offensive line held the play. And the quarterback, man, he made a great throw.
Third one, if I'm the receiver, I'm afraid of that ball. Now, that one's coming with smoke on it.
Yeah, it was. And the whole while I'm thinking, man, it's just easy. Throw it in the light, throw it in the easy, because there's so much going on. It was so much going on.
Well, you know he's not throwing it light and easy on that route.
He don't know. He just don't know how to throw him light and easy yet. He put it where he needed to put it. He put it low and away. You know, I catch it and run in his zone. Alfredo Roberts and Jay, they cleared it out great for me on that play.
And to prove, however, that you can still play the perfect game, what happened on the reverse?
That's Emmett's fault. Where is it?
Oh, it's a bad handoff, right?
Yeah, if it don't Emmett, hey, look. All I want to do is do what I do best. That's run deep ends and deep outs, man. They made me run the reverse. I didn't want to run it. They made me do it.
You were in there begging all week. I know you had to have been.
Yeah, but you know what? The play worked great. And practice, we ran a couple times in practice, and it worked great. I think, you know, sometimes you get in the game, adrenaline going and just going, and we just missed the handoff.
All right, now we're way premature for this question, but your next game is against a team that's also 3-0, and before you went there to play them last year, you saw them play the Oilers, and you were quaking a little, and it wound up being a good game for your team. But what's the relative position of these teams to one another compared to last year?
Well, you know, Brad, the thing is, when I think about the Philadelphia game right now, it's a Monday night game. You know, I'm thinking back, I think about the Washington game. Everybody says, oh, it's the biggest Monday night game. One of the biggest Monday night games ever. We got more cameras than anybody. Both teams are 3-0 now. It'll be a nice setting, don't you think? It'll be a nice setting. Big day. It'll be nice. I'm anxious to wait. I wish we didn't even have the bye, to tell you the truth.
Big day today for Michael Irvin, our star of the game, with 8 catches for 210 yards, 3 touchdowns. Congratulations.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Brad.
Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment. Brad Sham in the Cowboys locker room after the Cowboys beat the Phoenix Cardinals today 31-20 to go 3-0, and it was a big day for the Cowboys offense, and I don't know when I've seen Troy Aikman look sharper. 14 of 21 for 263 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Where's that rank for you? I mean, that's a pretty sharp day.
Well, it really was. You know, Michael did a great job as far as getting open, and I was just able to get the ball to the guys, you know, really, and not trying to be humble in any regard. Norv did a great job of calling the plays, doing the things in order to get those guys open, and my job was a little bit easy, and it makes it a little nice when Mike catches the first ball you throw and races up the sidelines. Of course, that shows on the stats as an 80-some-yard touchdown, and Mike did all the work.
Yeah, but, of course, you knew that play was breaking when you let the ball go, right?
Oh, yeah, I knew that he had a step on that guy, but it really was. The offensive line did a great job in terms of protecting me all day long. I thought they did a good job of allowing Emmett to run the football, even late in the ball game when it was obvious everybody knew that we were going to run. Everybody really just did a nice job offensively.
The second touchdown to Irvin was one for a guy who, by some reputation, has trouble putting touch on a deep ball. Was not a bad pass. So you want to talk about that one?
Well, it was a route that we really hadn't even worked on much in practice. We threw it a couple times last year. Failed to connect on it, and then this year we came into the game thinking that we might have a shot at getting it. Michael really did a great job of selling the route and then getting up top. The safety was coming over the top, so I couldn't keep him into the middle of the field where we'd normally like to throw that particular ball, and I had to bring him back outside, and he did a nice job adjusting to it.
Now, on the third touchdown to Michael, and I told him, if I'm the receiver on that play, I'm afraid of that pass, the way that ball's coming. I mean, do you have any concern about how hard you can throw it in short yardage like that in tight quarters?
Well, normally the closer you get down in there, you have to throw it a little bit harder than what you do when you're out in the middle of the field, just because everything shortens down and the time of reaction for the defense is a lot shorter. So that's another play that we just put in a couple weeks ago. We've just been working on it occasionally, thinking that it might cause a play for us. And Mike did a great job, of selling and coming back in. I thought he had a guy kept barreling down on him. I was trying to keep it low. to where that he could catch the ball and protect himself and possibly have a chance to score. And Alfredo Roberts, I don't know if y'all saw it on the replay, but Alfredo Roberts did a nice job of really running over the guy that was supposed to be covering Mike.
Now, on the reverse, which you asked me not to ask you about, I have to bring it up because we were wondering, and maybe I should be asking Norv Turner this, but you're out there lead blocking, and I know you're out there looking for somebody to hit. And I don't know if I want my quarterback out there doing that with a 28-13 lead or whatever it was then. Did you lobby for that play or what?
No, it came in, and actually, I thought it was a pretty good call at the time. There's little chance of me getting hurt on the play. I mean, I'm going to try to go low on a guy, or if I am able to get out on a corner, I'm going to try to stay up high with him. But when I came around, I came off on Harvey, and didn't.
Oh, good.
Well, I didn't hit him up high. I came down low, didn't get him on the ground, but I was expecting Mike to be on my tail, which he normally is when we practice on that. And I thought he was around the corner, and then I turned around and he's got a 10-yard loss. I still don't know what happened on the play. I assume he fumbled it. I don't know.
Yeah, he fumbled it.
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
All right. Happy to help. So this is the first time in a non-strike game that the Cowboys have scored 30 or more points 2 games in a row since '86. And at that time, it was like 4 or 5 games in a row, and they were leading the league in points and offense. How close are you getting now to where you think this offense is going to be in terms of being in sync?
Are we still not in sync? I mean,
to where you think it's going to be. I think it's fine, but you're the ones who keep saying it's not going to be.
You know, the defense we're playing has a little bit to do with how well we do offensively.
You're sure touchy sometimes.
Well, you know, I've been hearing about, when you guys going to get in sync, and I think that we've done a pretty good job. I mean, we can probably get better, sure, but there are going to be games where we don't do quite as well as what we're doing, and that's the one thing about this league, as you well know, Brad, and I'm not picking on you, but each week you never know how things are going to come up. But the one thing about it is everybody's got to roll offensively in order for us to be successful, and the offensive line's got to be able to block and get holes for Emmett and be able to keep them off of me, and I've got to be able to get the ball to the right guys, and the receivers have got to get open. So so far I'm real proud of the fact that everybody within the offense has done what they've been asked to do, and that's why we've been able to move the football.
Okay, we now know it officially. The Cowboys' offense is in sync. Our thanks to Troy Aikman. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment. Cowboys win today over the Phoenix Cardinals. Final was 31-20. Brad Sham back in the Cowboys locker room, and we're now with Cowboys fullback Darryl Johnston, who I am nominating for being in the class with John L. Williams and fullbacks of that magnitude as the best blocking and catching fullbacks in the league. I don't know if you want to accept that honor, but I mean, you've been blocking awful well, but today you were running plays on both ends where you got the outside linebacker, the tackle got the defensive end. That was a huge gainer for Emmitt Smith all day. So A, congratulations, and B, let's talk a little bit about what it takes to make a play like that work.
Thanks a lot, Brad. Because of the way they were playing their scheme, they had the outside linebackers split out kind of wide in their scheme, and we put a few plays in and we thought we could take advantage of them being out that wide, and fortunately for us, they didn't really change that style to the end of the game and bring them in a little bit tighter, so we were able to get some success early on in the game running outside. You're
a little bigger than you were last year? Question mark?
Yeah, it's close. Maybe a little bit bigger than it was last year, but I feel a little bit quicker, and that's a credit to Mike and everything, but it's probably negligible, the difference in size right now.
Well, I ask that because you see the films. You're in a good position to know if in fact you're more consistent with your blocking. It's always been a strong point for you, but you seem to be. It's been a major plus in each of the first 3 games. So how does it compare in your judgment?
It's vastly improved, especially when you play against teams like the Giants and Washington and Phoenix, and a lot of the time that week you spend looking at the previous games from the year before. And, I can notice a really big improvement in what I've been doing blocking since then. And, it's hard to say what the difference is. I really think it's just a mindset and, feeling comfortable with what your job is. And it's been going well for me so far this year.
You had a chance. I'm looking for the offensive stats here. 3 carries for 7 yards today, and you thought you had pay dirt, didn't you?
Yeah, I was surprised to hear the call at the 2-yard line, and not surprised to see him jump into the Bear defense, though. So he had a shot at it and didn't take advantage of it, and that kind of hurt. But you know, as long as we get in, it really doesn't matter who it is.
Of course, you also had carries on consecutive plays at another point in the game. So is this now ground Darrell? Is that what we're saying here?
I don't know. It'd be nice. You know, 3 carries, that's 3 times as many as I've had in the first 2 games. So the average is slipping a little bit, but the carries are going up, which is nice. So.
Can you handle mentally your ego, handle the role of a blocking fullback? I mean, obviously that's what's going to be your role, but no one comes out of college saying, gee, I'd like to be another guard, you know, and maybe carry it 3 times a game. Have you settled into that?
Yeah, I've never had an ego problem at all. You know, I've never done anything to have a big ego, so for me it's very easy to accept the role of a blocker. And you know, when you got a guy like Emmett and you know what he does for you when you do your job, you know, the gifts he gave us after last year, and you know, just the thanks he gives you after each and every game, you know, it kind of makes the job a little bit easier.
You did get one of those Rolexes then?
I sure did. He was kind enough to give me one.
Do you get to go to the offensive line meetings?
I've been asking Tony if I could sit in now and then because, you know, starting to drift out of the passing game, and so I figure I might as well go and sit with the linemen and learn what's going on in the blocking schemes.
All right, a big game for Darrell Johnston today. Thanks, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad.
Cowboys beat the Phoenix Cardinals today. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment. Brad Sham back in the Cowboys locker room where the Cowboys have beaten the Phoenix Cardinals to go 3-0, and it was a day where Tony Tolbert certainly left his impression on Chris Chandler, the Cardinals quarterback, sacked twice by Tony Tolbert today. Let's congratulations on the win. First of all, let's talk a little bit about what you expected from the Phoenix offense and whether that was what you got.
Well, we expected them to come out and establish the run because they've had trouble running the ball, and then, you know, some play action passes and things like that. But you know, during later in the week, I guess they changed personnel, and it was hard to get used to going against the guy, you know, I was going against, Cunningham, because I was expecting to go against Mark May, and it was, you know, it was difficult to get used to rushing against Cunningham. But you know, we expected him to play action pass, give him a couple of quick passes and hitches and stuff like that.
Now, you knew middle of the week, I guess, that Cunningham would be the guy you were going against, but I'm guessing you probably didn't have a whole lot of film on him. Did you have to go back to preseason, or did you have any?
We had to go back to preseason, and to be honest, I didn't find out that he was going to start until Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning sometime. But you know, we went back to the preseason game, Seattle and Chicago, and tried to get as much on him as possible.
Now, I know you also have a couple of members of your coaching staff who were with Rick Cunningham at Texas A&M. In a case like that, do they come to you or you go to them and say, give me a book on this guy?
Yeah, you know, they told me that he was, you know, decent athlete. You know, kind of you go after him, he'll kind of, you know, go down and stuff like that. But you know, to me, they didn't give him his just due. I think he was a pretty good athlete foot-wise and stuff like that, and he put more effort into his game than what I've seen him play.
Now, another thing that happened, of course, that people are going to talk about is big lead, and the other team made it interesting at the end. They were you playing a lot of that so-called prevent defense in the fourth quarter today?
I think we learned, as a team, we learned our lesson last week. I think it wasn't that much as prevent. I think you know, we got on top of them real fast, and it was forced them to pass and stuff like that. You know, there ain't no prevent in the NFL because any team can score 21 points in 2 minutes, or, you know, something bad can happen. So, you know, you never try to prevent, you know, from losing the game or whatever. You just play the way you've been playing and stay on top of it.
Are you a little stronger, a little more into the flow now after not having a training camp?
I'm still getting tired early. I'm you know, not as sore as the first game, but I hope to get my win very soon. You know, there's nothing that can prepare yourself for hitting and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to get back in shape as much as possible.
So you're still not 4 quarters every down worth of football shape?
Nowhere close to it. Nowhere close to it.
Well, you got 2 weeks before Philadelphia. You think you'll have it then?
I hope so. I'm going to do a lot of running next week and try to get my win back. Right now, to be honest, I can probably go 3 quarters the most, but, you know, with some spells here and there. But I hope to get my win and hopefully play the way I played last year.
Well, 2 sacks for Tony Tolbert today. Congratulations, you're part of the Cowboys win today.
Thank you.
We'll go now to Michael Ray, who's outside the locker room with Cowboys offensive line coach Tony Wise. See if maybe Darryl Johnston will get to sit in one of those offensive line meetings. Michael?
Well, thank you, Brad. We are with offensive line coach Tony Wise. Troy Aikman just made mention of what a great job your guys did. A couple of weeks ago, Emmett was a little upset because they didn't get the credit he feels they deserve. Talk about, I mean, we always hear about the offensive line as a unit. Talk about individual guys that you coach and that you're head over.
Well, probably the guy that gets the least the publicity is Mark Tooney, the left tackle, does an outstanding job. Big, strong guy who's awful consistent. He gets a lot of tough rushers over there. Harvey today,
yeah.
and he's just a real consistent guy and is a very good player for us. Everybody knows Nate and loves him, and Nate's playing very well and doing a heck of a job. John Giesick is probably, since the start of camp, has been the most consistent and probably the best lineman that we've had on the entire team, I would think. And then Eric Williams, obviously, has gotten a lot of publicity himself as, you know, being a young guy and being thrust in there, and Eric has played very well for these first 3 ball games.
And even the backups today, as I saw Nate came out, got a blow, and Kevin Gogan went in.
Nate kind of turned his ankle, and Kevin went in there, and Kevin obviously has been a starter, and he can do it very well. And then it was glad to have Mark Stepnoski back, because he's a guy that's taken a lot of snaps for us over the past 2.5 years, and I think his first time out they did a nice job.
Yeah, and then Frank Cornish having to come in, Stepnoski gets kicked in the head, so all around a great day for your guys.
Yeah, anytime the line can be consistent and play well together, then they're not going to get a lot of notice, and they know that as well as anybody does.
All right, thanks, Coach. 112 yards for Emmett today, over great. 200 for Michael Irvin. That means your guys did a great job, and we thank you. The big game, of course, 4-0 is what they strive for against the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll be back with more Brad in the locker room as Dallas Cowboys football continues in a moment.
Brad Sham back in the Cowboys locker room after a 31-20 win over the Phoenix Cardinals today, and a couple of the Warriors did go down from time to time. We visit with Cowboys trainer Kevin O'Neill. Mark Stepnoski first kicked in the head. Did he know where he was?
No, he was still pretty fuzzy even at the end of the ball game, trying to piece some things back together, even events back to when he came in a couple weeks ago. So he's a little blurry yet, and he's going to spend some time with some friends tonight, and we'll be checking on him. I don't think it's going to be anything problematic or long-term, but he had a pretty good concussion going for him.
That was because I saw Dr. Zamorano holding his arm walking off the field. I thought maybe he'd done something to his shoulder, but that wasn't it.
No, that was just to stabilize him because he was a little dizzy.
Well, that's a big bunch of dizzy right there. All right. Nate Newton left with an ankle. What's that story?
Nate didn't really leave with any significant problems. Nate's been nursing a sore right knee, and we spelled him a little bit with Kevin Gogan late in the game. That's something we planned and talked about doing throughout the week. I don't think there's any surprises there. I don't think there's any big significant change in his condition.
What else?
We've got Kervin Richards. He took another shot on those same ribs. That's the same area that he had during the training camp where we had some problems and had to hold him out before. Don't know that we've got anything significant going there, but we felt the conservative and proper thing to do once he got that blow was to take him out of there. He did that. Alexander Wright re-aggravated a knee problem he's had for maybe a week or so. Again, I don't think it's a critical thing in terms of him being able to come back and participate next week. Something we'll take a hard look at tomorrow.
What's the nature of that injury? Do you know? Is it cartilage, or are you sure?
From where the pain is and what he's talking about, I think more than anything else, it's a pretty good bruise to the bone. It's a possibility in the same area that he's got a little bit of a ligament sprain, but it really hasn't demonstrated itself that way so far, watching it over the last several days. So I really think we're dealing with a bad bruise more than anything else, and hopefully that thing will calm down.
Ray Horton's hamstring come through the game all right?
Talked to him after the game. He felt real good about it. He said he really didn't have any problems, didn't feel anything with it, and got through quite well with that. Real pleased to get Russell back in the lineup tonight and get some quality time with him. A little longer than what I wanted as far as getting back off that toe, but it's worked out, and he's doing better with it, and that's pleasing from our standpoint.
Now, he did seem a little hobbled still. Was he, or was he just taking care of it when he left the field a couple of times? Looked like he had a good limp.
Well, he was in a pretty unique shoe. Tom Rafferty brought him a shoe from ages gone by. It's got a double steel plate sewn in the bottom of it, which really prevents some hyperextension, pushing that toe far enough back where any more damage or problem can be caused with it. So the shoe's heavy, and in addition to that, yeah, it's stiff, so you don't get the normal push-off when you run. So you might have seen a guy that you thought was hobbled. I saw a guy that I saw wearing a double steel plated shoe that was getting around pretty well.
Well, I like your perspective a little better. It's a little more well-informed. Thank you very much, Kevin O'Neill.
Okay, thank you.
Cowboys trainer after the Cowboys beat the Cardinals today, and Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Welcome back to the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. And Brad, I for one am glad that Michael Irvin had the 3 touchdowns today. Early in the first half against the Giants last week, before he scored his first touchdown of the season, he was actually pouting a little bit. He's just walking around. He's not the same guy when he's not getting in the end zone.
Yeah, well, he is certainly a different guy when he is getting in the end zone. That's absolutely sure. I'm kind of glad that he dropped the reverse, because otherwise, you know, he'd have been bouncing off the walls in here. And another 40 yards or so, and he would have had the biggest day a Cowboy receiver ever had. I thought Michael Irvin last year had as good a year, if not better, than any receiver I'd ever been around or seen, because of some of the individual plays that he made and some of the timing that he used to make those plays. I just say when he did it. Man, I thought we saw that today. That run on the first one of the game, that was an unbelievable run, and I don't know if you can make a more difficult catch than he did on the third one. I mean, I thought he played like an all-pro today.
And Jay Novacek should get a lot of credit. I believe you, during the interview with Michael, mentioned that. But his blocking was so beautiful on that, and then Michael played off the block beautifully as well.
Novacek is a little underrated as a blocker, especially, I think, in the open field.
All right, so they go to 3-0. I mean, who'd have thunk it? Here we go. We are latched on and ready. 2 weeks from now, don't forget to join us then, because, of course, the off week next week, and then, of course, the big game, 2 4-0 teams meet. Hope you join us for the Cowboys postgame show again in 2 weeks as the Dallas Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles at Veterans Stadium.
This has been the Dallas Cowboy postgame show. Join us next week right here on 21 and only KTXA.
You're watching KTXA Fort Worth, Dallas. We